This podcast is brought to you by JList.com. Guys and girls, it's wintertime, and in Japan, it's pretty cold, and so the chocolate is going to be nice and safe from that nasty, hot, melty sun. So JList has brought back their chocolate snacks. You can head over to JList.com right now and experience some of the most incredible chocolate snacks from Japan. Everybody knows Japan's pretty famous for their Kit Kat flavors, so you can get dozens of different Kit Kat flavors over at JList, including the awesome green tea flavor, which I love so much. They have the very famous Melty Kiss chocolates, which is some of Japan's favorites as well. They also have tons of different types of Pocky, which everyone always enjoys. All of these products for around $3 or less. So you can head over to JList.com or JBox.com, which is their non-adult mirror site, and you can get your chocolate and Japanese snack fix. And now it's time to start the podcast.
来てくれてありがとう You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Oh, welcome into the podcast, everybody, to the 506th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. We are broadcasting live here on Twitch. Thank you for everybody who's watching live, and of course, all of you at home listening, whether you're in the car, whatever you're doing, at work, at the grocery store. Thank you for making us a part of your day. I hope we're making your day a little bit more enjoyable and also making your anime addiction worse. I'm your host, Mitsugi, of course, and I am joined by the so delicious crew of Mandi and Mason. Mandi, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here and talk about Gintama.
Spoiler alert. And we also have Mason from the unseasonably warm Northeast. How are you?
I'm doing all right. If you're actually at the grocery store right now, I give you permission to get some ice cream because I forgot to get some. And
yeah, me too.
Don't make the same mistake I did, people. Treat yourself.
And me. I forgot as well.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
It was going to be our goof for the podcast, and then we didn't do it.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a minute. Guys, if you want to support the podcast and join the ranks of anime addicts, you can go to aapodcast.com/join, make an account, support the podcast, and we will support your listening pleasure with up to 8 additional podcast episodes per month that only you will get to hear. We just did a Hobby Addicts in which Mason talked about the, what was it called?
AGDQ, Awesome Games Done Quick.
That's right. Who raised a record amount of money, beating games in unbelievable amounts of time. And of course, Mandi and I also talked about Blasphemous, which is a Metroidvania game that came out last September. We also do our hentai episodes and our after parties, so you can get that on there as well. You're not going to want to miss out at aapodcast.com/join. Guys, the Discord is always a really popular place to hang out. What do you guys have going on the Discord right now?
Same as always, we have the Best of 2019 poll up, so if you have opinions on the last year of anime, that's the place to let us know what you thought about it so we can use it for our evil records. The health club is officially back up and running and lifting and doing all sorts of things. So get back on that train. We're posting all sorts of links there, including the Let's Plays that Mandi and I are doing of Danganronpa, aka that Mandi is doing and I'm backseat commentating on, and it's a ton of fun.
I spent like a good 20 minutes talking to myself in the last one. Whew, it was rough.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. We have a whole playlist on YouTube. We've got over 5 videos up now, so and by that I mean 5 with more to come, so stay tuned. We also, you people asked, on YouTube we now have timestamps on all the videos, so for those who watch there, if you want to jump to more specific sections, you now have that option. So Mandi put that all together for you, so thank her.
With Mason's help.
little bit, just very briefly. But we also have a manga club going on.
Yeah, so man, last Wednesday we talked about 4 volumes of Steel Ball Run, and it was so much fun. We had a blast just going through all the JoJo memes. We had so much fun talking about it. Up next, we are doing I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, and it is the entire book. So like it's just 1 volume long, and we'll be discussing that on January 22nd at the usual time, 10 p.m. EST. You can come to our Discord, go down to Manga channel, check out the pin notes for. Well, you don't have to worry about chapters with this one. We're just reading all of it. But you can also see a list there on what's coming up next, and please come join us. We have a lot of fun.
And I've heard it's a pretty quick read from what people have said, so it's don't think it's like, oh, it's a whole massive book.
No.
Also, someone posted some quotes from the last manga club in the channel. Oh, they're a joy to behold. I forget all the funny things I say, and they make me laugh ever so.
I also shared it on Twitter. It was so much. I was reading through it, and I just got a good chuckle out of it because I was like, man, we had so much fun with that entire conversation.
And I think we're also going to have fun in the anime club. If you're listening to this live, you still have time. January 15th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to talk Durarara. So get in there and chat it up. I don't know what they're going to watch next. I know they have, like, Princess Tutu is next officially on the list, but these things are always prone to change. So if you want to influence the vote, influence the discussion, jump on by, and we'd love to have you.
And guys, if you want to find the Discord, you can do it from our website, aaapodcast.com. There's a Discord button on the top. It'll take you straight there. You can join. So definitely do that if you're interested in joining our community. And of course, you can watch us on twitch.tv, which we're doing every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And of course, we're on Facebook and also on Twitter, of course, as well. On this episode, we are going to be talking about what we've been watching. We're going to give you a quick update on all the different types of stuff that we've been enjoying outside of the podcast. And we're also going to be doing a review of Dao Zu Shi, which is a, how would you describe this? It's a Chinese anime, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So definitely a fantasy show that we're going to be doing a review on. And one more quick note before we get started. On Wednesday the 15th, I'm going to post the Anime Oscars voting for 2019. Big thank you to all the podcasts that chipped in and made all the nominations happen. You'll be able to see a banner on the website, and of course, it'll be across social media as well. So definitely get in there and start contributing to the vote for our Anime Oscars show. And that's going to start again on Wednesday the 15th. So without further ado, let's roll.
It's time for big news of the week.
Guys, we got some big movies coming to theaters. I am going to be going to see Weathering with You next week. It's coming to theaters starting on January 15th and will run until the 23rd. It's a pretty wide release. Here in Denver, I would guess, just looking at the map of where the theaters are, it's probably in 50 theaters in Denver. You really won't have trouble seeing it. It's in AMC theaters, it's in Regal's, Movie Tavern, a whole bunch of other places. So it's probably going to this is probably going to be an Oscar qualifying run for the movie. I don't know if it'll win or not, but if you want to see Weathering with You, the new Makoto Shinkai movie, you're going to be able to see it dubbed or subbed probably anywhere where you live. So check that out. And do either of you have any interest in it? Have you guys seen the movie yet?
I have not, but I do want to see it. I just don't know if we'll get it anywhere near me because it's very rare we get anime movies out here.
There might be a chance. I mean, if you had to go out of your way for Parasite though, so maybe this one as well. But look it up, people.
What is your zip code, Mandy?
I'm not going to share that.
Yeah. Go type it in the chat. Type it in the Discord over here. I'll look it up for you. So that's probably not a terrible point. So definitely.
Is this a 6 or a 9, man? Oh, just kidding.
Damn it, Mason. Mason's trying to get me called out and trying to get people to hunt me down.
Oh boy.
The classic zip code of 12345.
It is definitely at 3 different theaters within 10 miles of you, and one of them is 2 miles away. One of them is 2 miles away. So.
I didn't know that.
You can
I'll
do
check
it
out.
As listeners of this podcast, may know, I was scheduled to see this. Enzo got me exclusive tickets to see it at
Oh, wow.
Anime NYC. And I forsake everyone so I could come back and do the podcast that day. So I am as in the dark as you guys. So
Mason.
So I'm definitely going to see that. Yeah, we're going to do the movie. I'm going to go to like the movie tavern probably and get dinner. You know, like you can order at your table and they like deliver it to you. So it'll be a good time.
ooh,
Also,
exquisite.
yeah, I think it'll be fun. Also, Violet Evergarden is coming to theaters in early 2020. The Violet Evergarden film. It's going to be in select theaters. I don't think it's getting as wide of a release as Weathering with You, but it is being brought by Funimation in Japanese with English subs. So those of you that love the dubs, you know, it's not going to be. It won't have that. The description for theaters from Funimation is Violet Evergarden comes to a private woman's academy to tutor Isabella in the ways of being a lady. Heir to the York family, Isabella feels trapped in this new and uncomfortable world. She still grieves for the only person to ever bring her happiness, now lost to her. Violet's lessons do give her a brief respite from the melancholy, but with the absence of joy, how long does it take to truly heal? That's the description from Funimation. People love Violet Evergarden. I mean, it's so if you're lucky enough to get that one near you, there's no date for it, but it says early 2020, so I'd be looking for it in the next few months, I would say. So pretty exciting. Do you guys have any interest in that one?
Yes, I would love to see it. I really enjoyed the Violet Evergarden show, so yeah, I'm really looking
I
forward
can't
to it.
imagine how much better a movie would look though. Like how much more Violet can they
Oh
do?
my gosh, yeah, the show is already
Nuts.
gorgeous.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Do
You
we
know it's high society when someone's name is Isabella. Like that's you know what you're in for with that
Yeah.
kind of name.
Yeah, they're going to sacrifice all their children.
Of course. To the scary monsters, to the Dios.
Yeah. Yeah, to all the Dios.
Did KyoAni, I assume it's KyoAni, did KyoAni finish this movie before the tragedy that they had happen, or
I think they were working on it.
I'm
I don't think
wondering-
they finished it.
I'm wondering because you guys were talking about like if the anime looked that good, how good could a movie look? And I'm just wondering, I'm worried that like the movie might be affected by all that, but
Oh, I have no idea.
knowing KyoAni, they're probably just gonna crush it like usual. So there you go.
Yeah.
Two big movies for the big news: Violet Evergarden's film and Weathering with You, both coming to theaters sooner rather than later. Guys, I wanted to just ask real quick, just to see if anybody wanted to make a prediction. The Crunchyroll Awards are this week, I think, and the anime. There's a short list of anime that are nominated for Anime of the Year, and I wanted to see if you guys wanted to throw out a prediction as to which one would win. Are you interested?
Sure, we can do what we think will win and what we want to win.
Sure. Carol and Tuesday, Mob Psycho 100 Season 2, Promise Neverland, Demon Slayer, O Maidens in Your Savage Season, and Vinland Saga are nominated for Anime of the Year. Since you're so gung-ho, Mason, which one do you think will win, and which one would you want to have win?
I think with almost no shadow of a doubt, I think Demon Slayer will win.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's got the meme ability. It's got Nezuko, which was pushed through all sorts of memes and Twitter, and just, everyone knows that. It's a shonen. It looks great. It sounds great. It was heavily promoted on every platform. I don't know how that one couldn't win.
And which one do you want to have win, though? He's in pain.
Almost none of them.
Oh,
Almost none of them.
Goodness.
But I guess if I had to choose, even though I didn't like it as much as the others, Mob Psycho.
Okay.
I didn't like it as much, but I think it's just to push, hey, we like this kind of animation more. I don't know.
Mandi, I would ask the same questions of you. What do you think will win, and who would you like to have?
First, I want to know, Mason, what would you want to win if it wasn't on this list? Like any of them that are not on this list, what would you choose?
None of them. Nothing.
Did you like anything from last year?
Nothing wins.
Exactly.
I thought, I personally had more fun with Attack on Titan more than any of these. I had more fun with, Kaguya-sama more than a lot of these. Let me jump through 2019 really quick. I don't want to give all my takes away.
We'll come back to
Well,
Mason.
it's no surprise that I want Vinland Saga to win.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't know. I my gut instinct is I think Demon Slayer is going to win by a landslide. But people were so upset over Demon Slayer winning the best of the decade on Funimation that I would not be surprised if people purposely didn't vote for it just so it doesn't win. So I don't know.
And that was best animation or best anime?
I thought it was best animation, but I mean, I don't
remember.
It probably
but
shouldn't even.
People are
won't
upset
know.
about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very fair point.
It probably shouldn't even have won that, to be honest. But
I really think it's going to be a toss up between that and Vinland Saga. I don't know.
So personally, I want Vinland Saga to win. I think Vinland Saga was the best anime of last year. It was definitely the most engaging. I loved the characters were compelling. You know, that's one of those shows where like even the villains have good intentions in some way, and you kind of root for them. You know, Askeladd was kind of an asshole, but then you know he comes around. You come around on him, you know, and he has a really great moment there at the end of the season. But I think Demon Slayer will win. I think it has the recency. It has the popularity and the recency, and it has Tanjiro and Nezuko, and those characters are very popular, so I'm pretty sure that will win. But I actually think it's going to be a toss-up between that and Promised Neverland. I think this is a popularity contest, and if you look online, those two have more viewers than any of the others. But
I don't know, because Promised Neverland, a lot of people were like, man, the manga is so much better. At least from what I've heard. The anime did do very well, but I've heard manga readers are like, I like this one, the manga so much more. And I don't know, because if you look at in the past, Devilman Crybaby beat a lot of them, and it did not have nearly as high a score or viewers as the other ones did.
And it was Netflix exclusive from the beginning of the year, so
yeah, and I mean, you can't just go off just Mal because there are other sites that people use out there. But I don't know. It's still very possible Demon Slayer will just slay it.
I see what you did there. All right, so we all seem to think Demon Slayer will win. Mason, did you come up with one?
No.
Oh boy.
This year was
I didn't
bad.
think so.
2019 was bad. 2019 is awful. Moving on.
Mason hates everything.
Oh
ever.
my goodness. All right, let's move on.
You've all been bamboozled. He doesn't even like anime.
I've activated my trap card.
Oh my god.
It's time for hot new anime releases.
We got some good ones here. Mandy?
Yeah, we have some good hot new releases coming up in anime. First one is a new anime for Higurashi no Naku Koro ni, which is a new project being produced by Studio Passione. I believe they did the other ones too, didn't they?
I think it was Dean actually.
I don't remember.
I'll look
it's been so while.
You know what? I'll effort that.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't remember. But this is the first Higurashi When They Cry television series to come out for since it aired in 2006. This one is season 2, or the season 2 aired for 24 episodes back in 2007.
Yeah, it was Dean, Studio Dean. Yeah, this was an anime that I watched in college, and this was like that anime that just blew people's minds because of how just gratuitously violent it was. So
yeah.
Most people, if they haven't seen the show, they still know the scene from where Rika just kind of slams the butcher knife on the wall, and she's just like bashing her head into it and like screaming maniacally. It's totally wild. You know, this is if you look at the article that I caught this in, like I said,
I was just looking at it now.
As I said before, like the average amount of comments on like my anime list for a news article, it's like, I don't know, 8 comments. This has almost 100 comments. I mean, it's just, I don't know, Higurashi, people love this shit. I mean, it was so big when it came out before, and I don't know, it's coming back. They didn't really say in what capacity, but I'm hoping it's a whole anime. But I have no idea how they're going to do a sequel because.
So the last one aired in 2007, correct? So
yeah.
Has it been that long since we've had anything?
The last one finished at the end of 2007, and there is like an OVA, I think, after that.
Okay.
That
Gotcha.
came out in 2009. But I think that's about it, I think.
Now, is this one based off of anything in the visual novels, or is this one just a complete standalone?
I don't know, because they certainly finished the story in a way that doesn't really allow a sequel, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I don't know. They didn't. The article had very little info in it, but people still
Yeah.
seem to be pretty excited about it either way. But what else?
Interesting. So the next one is an anime for To Your Eternity. And this Kodansha announced on Thursday that the manga To Your Eternity is getting an anime adaptation. If you remember, I was trying to find the episode. I could not find it. In a previous podcast episode, probably from late 2018, we did a big news segment where we looked at a Japanese poll that was like, which of these currently publishing manga would you like to get an anime? And I went into that poll and I voted on the air for To Your Eternity.
I remember that.
Now we're getting it.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
The sway that Mandi has, immeasurable.
I did a manga minute on this one.
That it is.
We did a manga club on this one. It was like one of our very early manga clubs.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been a while, and I'm still reading the manga. It's still going. But the anime says the anime is going to premiere in October. There's currently no information on the studio or the staff or the cast in it. But the original manga, for those who don't know, is by Yoshitoki Oima, who is the mangaka for A Silent Voice. And the manga's still going. There's 11 volumes out right now. And now it's publishing in English alongside the Japanese version. So they come out at the exact same time. And the synopsis that's on the article is so misleading. Like, it's so misleading. I'll read it to you just so you get a little taste of what it is. It says, a lonely boy wandering the Arctic regions of North America meets a wolf, and the two become fast friends, depending on each other to survive the harsh environment. But the boy has a history, and the wolf is more than meets the eye as well. To Your Eternity is a totally unique and moving manga about death, life, reincarnation, and the nature of love. That is very misleading, let me tell you. That very, very tiny portion of the story does not last very long. But yeah, it's a very hard-hitting, very emotional story. Like, oof, you kind of have to take a break sometimes while reading it. So I'm excited for the anime, though. Some of those scenes are going to be hard to watch animated, but I'm excited.
Mandi predicts it again. We should just change the Manga Minute title to just like Mandi's fortune telling manga segment or something. Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. We got some good stuff coming out. Very excited.
We've got some trivia as well before we head into the news break. First up is the website trivia. The theme is anime monsters. The winner from last week the answer from last week was Toradora.
Yeah.
The winner for the week was Shinpachi 8 or Shinpachi Hachi, which I believe is how they want it said. But the winner for the month is also Shinpachi Hachi.
Look,
So
here's the problem.
congratulations.
It
Only-
must be my birthday.
Only humans can win this, though. Glasses can't win.
Oh, that's true.
Glasses cannot win trivia, guys.
Shinpachi, we know you ranked, what was it, 8th or 10th in the character poll?
Yeah. That is, of course, if this is a Gintama joke and your actual name isn't Shinpachi. If it is, I apologize.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. 2 of them, because there are 2 frames and eyeglasses. The current theme is anime monsters, as I said earlier, and you can go to the website and check it out.
These are harder. I tried to find ones that were like the last round was so easy. I was like, geez, we got to step it up.
It was.
So this one's a little tougher, and I don't. I mean, if you guys go to the website,
I'm going there right now. I'm going there right now. Ooh,
do you know what it is? Do you know what this is?
I could take a guess at it, but it's not as immediately obvious as
a lot of blood in this photo.
Face right up there, yeah.
Yeah, so the website aaapodcast.com has the trivia down a little down towards the bottom. You can check it out. All right.
I think I know what that is.
Well, maybe you should play.
Can I win? I'm a host.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
You can play this trivia though, Mandi.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, sorry, my dog
No worries.
removed me. Anyways, yeah, so we have a question. We'll answer it after the break. The question is, which of the following anime has not won the Crunchyroll Best of the Year award in the past? Is it My Hero Academia, Made in Abyss, Devilman Crybaby, or Yuri on Ice? And we'll answer it after the break.
Hey, all you anime addicts, Mitsuki is here, and I'm bringing you that sweet, sweet round of anime news, leading us off with a new anime announcement. Kuma 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 Bear, which literally means bear, 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 is getting a TV anime, the light novel, which was announced that it is getting a TV adaptation. The synopsis: a 15-year-old girl named Yuna prefers staying home and obsessively playing her favorite virtual reality MMO, which is yet another virtual reality MMO anime. There's a lot of these lately. She wants to do that over doing anything else, including going to school, but when a strange new update gives her a one-of-a-kind bear outfit that comes with overpowered abilities, Yuna is torn. The outfit is unbearably cute, but too embarrassing to wear in the game. But then she suddenly finds herself transported into the world of the game, facing new monsters and magic for real, and the bear suit becomes her best weapon. So another brought into a video game anime where a girl is dressed in an overpowered bear suit. Sounds like a sort of a cute moe twist on the genre. Look out for Kuma 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 Bear coming out sometime soon. Next up, Demon Slayer pretty much sweeps the Animedia Character Awards for 2019. Animedia Magazine holds awards each year for the most popular characters of that given year, and it looks like this year the character that won the most awards was Tanjiro Kamado from Demon Slayer, who won awards for being, quote, for being bright and courageous. Other characters from Demon Slayer that won awards include Giyu, who won for being strong, cool, and mysterious, Kyojiro, who won for being hot, Nezuko for being cute, Shinobu for being beautiful, Mitsuri for being sexy, and Zenitsu for being cute and bratty. So Demon Slayer popularity just running rampant, just running rough shot over the whole anime industry as it dominates everything. So look forward to probably more Demon Slayer coming out in the future pretty soon, and also it's nominated as the Anime of the Year in the Crunchyroll Awards, which is coming up pretty soon. Next up, it looks like we have the top 10 ranking games which had the most press on Twitter for 2019. The top 5 being Grand Blue Fantasy, Identity V, Final Fantasy, Fortnite, and Fortnite being unseated very surprisingly by Fate Grand Order, which is a little shocking considering the mass popularity of Fortnite. Others in the list including Ensemble Stars, Monster Strike, PUBG, Minecraft, and Super Smash Bros., all rounding out the top 10. So good on Fate Grand Order for being so popular and for unseating the previously seemingly unbeatable Fortnite. And lastly, it looks like Young Jump Magazine is launching a manga award to celebrate its 40th anniversary. They're going to be doing a, quote, total prize money, 100 million yen, 40 manga prize, which is going to be distributed across 40 different manga genres. People will be able to submit manga to the magazine, and they have some pretty high-profile judges that are involved in the judging, including the creators of Kingdom, Yasuhisa Hara, creators of Kaguya-sama Love is War, Akasaka, Chihayafuru's creator, Yuki Suetsugu, and the creator of Kaiji, Nobuyuki Fukumoto. So those are among the judges. Pretty high-profile stuff here. Submissions for the competition are going to be opening pretty much right now and are going to go until May 31st. I don't know if it's open to foreign entrants, but if you are interested, you might want to look up the Young Jump Magazine website and get more details about the event. This is Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now we're going to get back to the podcast right now. Anime Addicts, the AAA podcast, is always trying to bring you new and exciting ways to enjoy our content, and now we have an exclusive member-only RSS feed on the site that is going to let you access our hentai episodes, our Hobby Addicts, and our After Parties episodes, all from your favorite mobile apps. That's an additional 8 episodes of content per month just for you, and you can listen to it through Apple Podcasts app, you can listen to it through Podcast Addicts, Pocket Cast, Overcast FM, Downcast FM, etc., onward and onward. So many mobile apps for you to choose from. If you were holding back on supporting the podcast because you didn't like listening to our extra content through our website, now you can get it and listen to it the same way you enjoy all your other podcasts. So pitch in, help out the podcast, do a good thing, and enjoy all the extra content we have for you. Just go to aapodcast.com/join, support the podcast, Merry Christmas, and you will get all this extra content and an exclusive member RSS feed for you to enjoy. That's aapodcast.com/join and support the podcast.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Glass, voice of Winry from Full Metal Alchemist, and Haruhi from Ouran High School Host Club, and I am an anime addict.
Hey guys, we're back. Welcome back to the podcast. Before we went on our news break, we had a trivia question for you. Which of the following anime has not won the Crunchyroll Best of the Year award in the last few years? My Hero Academia, Made in Abyss, Devilman Crybaby, or Yuri on Ice? Surprisingly, the answer is My Hero Academia. Has never won it. It's always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And it's not nominated. It's not
Always a Boku, never Otome.
That's right. It's not going to win this year either because it is not nominated. So, but I'm told that the new season of My Hero Academia is really good. I heard some really.
That's what I hear. I need to watch it.
I keep expecting it to drop off. You know, it's like, oh, a lot of these shows when they hit like their fourth or fifth seasons, you know, they start to peter off. But it just doesn't seem like it has. So it's hanging in there.
So far behind.
I haven't. I
have a lot to catch up.
I'm approximately 100% behind because I have not started it.
You've got a while to go.
I have a while, yeah. Yep. I got people trying to get me to catch up, but I'm like, good Lord, I got to watch stuff for the podcast. You want me to catch up on 80 episodes?
Hey, look, I'm almost 200 episodes into Gintama. You can do it.
That's amazing. I mean, all right, well, on that note, let's see if Mandy can come up with another clairvoyant prediction here in her Mandy Manga Minute.
No.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandi.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and help you find something new to read. And this one is called No Longer Human by Junji Ito. This one, plagued by maddening anxiety and the terrible disconnect between his own concept of happiness and the joy of the rest of the world, Yozo Oba plays the clown in his dissolute life, holding up a mask for those around him as he spirals ever downward, locked arm in arm with death. No Longer Human is a psychological drama illustrated by Junji Ito. The manga is based on a novel by Osamu Dazai, although Junji Ito adds in his own personal touch to the story. The original novel was written in 1948, while this manga just released in 2017. It just came out here in the States just like a couple months ago, so there was a big gap there between Japanese release and here. But you can purchase the whole collection in English as a giant hardback omnibus. I have it here on stream if you're watching live. And this manga is roughly around 616 pages long. If you're not familiar with Dazai's original novel, this is a very heavy read. The story follows Yozo Oba's life. As a child, he has issues forming meaningful and honest connections with other people. And after some very traumatic events in his life, Yozo spirals into a seemingly endless hole of depression and anxiety. And Junji Ito follows the novel pretty faithfully until, like, towards the end, he adds in his own little additions to the story. Ito does a great job of illustrating Yozo's psychological turmoil by blending in his own dark horror style. So, for example, one scene involves Yozo sleeping with a woman that he just met. But to illustrate Yozo's depression overcoming him and coalescing with the woman's own sadness, Ito draws the two literally melting into each other.
Oh, wow.
So he uses his usual gross body horror as a visual metaphor to communicate Yozo's emotions. And the story has a constant sense of dread and melancholy and throughout the entire work, and it's not a happy read, and there's no real happy ending. Warning. I would advise
Spoilers.
caution before jumping into this work. And I would recommend it probably to people who enjoyed some of Inio Asano's works. It kind of has that type of nihilistic feel to it. But and many people believe Osamu Dazai wrote No Longer Human as a suicide note. So keep that in mind, that some of the content could be very triggering as well. But it was an interesting read, not a pleasant one. So if you're interested in Junji Ito works, check it out.
I started to read No Longer Human.
Did you? Wait, the book?
The actual book, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I finished that one.
I got part of the way through it. All right, well, thanks for that.
And if we never get an anime adaptation proper, you always have the Dazai character from Bungo Stray Dogs. He uses the power No Longer Human, so that's close enough.
All right, well, now we're going to continue the theme of space babes in Mason's Waifu Wars. And here comes your drop.
Okay.
In the game of waifus, you either win or you are late to anime school. Cake will be thrown, ice cold tea will be served. Who will be top in the class and who will be flunked in Mason's Waifu Wars?
So I don't have a catchy little in slogan like Mandi. I should probably get one of those. But this is the segment where I talk about just waifus. That's all there is to it. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, hi, welcome. How are you doing? Holding up okay? Fantastic. Come join the Discord. But since it's your first time, you probably haven't heard Mitz or I talk about the joy of Space Brothers.
I love it so much.
So for really quick, just for you new people, because I'm so kind, this is a 99 length episode series that ran between 2012 and 2014 and is by far my favorite work by A1 Pictures. It follows two brothers and their journey to be astronauts through JAXA, which is the real world equivalent of Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency. We follow the two brothers, Namba and Hibito's mostly realistic journey through the astronaut selection process, testing, and training, as well as how they developed their initial interest in space as kids, the support they received from family, friends, an adorable little pug named Appo. Oh, it's so nice. I love him so much. The series really expounds, talks about themes of how success is driven off of effort, your passion, your intelligence, and all the luck that goes into it. And really, as long as you don't give up, as long as you keep looking towards the future, you're never really going to truly fail. But what else the series has, besides all those grand ambitions and those inspirational grand adventures, those familiar bonds that just hits me right in the chest, is one of the best waifus in the anime game. And that's Ito Serika by a landslide. She's an absolute gem.
She's so great.
And is too good for this world. She's a fellow applicant into the astronaut program. She's a doctor whose whole drive, her ambition, is to do research on the ISS, which is the International Space Station, where the zero gravity allows for the development of new medication, which is true in the real world. It's called exomedicine, and that's just the coolest sounding name ever. But more than all of that, she's just so charming. She's perfectly balanced between cute and beautiful. She's incredibly intelligent and is the peak specimen of human physical fitness. She's just a champ. More importantly, though, even beyond that, is the girl loves to eat. She's just always munching away on tasty treats, and she enjoys every moment of it. And it's so wholesome. Her adorable knack for letting her curiosity get the better of her, and just she gets flustered and she gets embarrassed, but she doesn't really let it get her down. She's just so enjoyable. And I could talk about her merits for hours. I mean, she's voiced, for example, by the legendary Mayuki Sawashiro, which you might know, who did Kanbaru, Celti, Kurapika, Fujiko, Bishamon, and Inaba from a previous Waifu Wars. So, she's already got so much going for her. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's a great series. I love it. Check it out, and at least do it for Serika, because she is a bae.
Yeah, Space Brothers is pretty amazing. I actually went to JAXA after watching Space Brothers because I just wanted to see it, right? And there's so many shots from inside the JAXA building that are just cut right out of the anime. The anime just nailed it. They obviously did a ton of research on the inside of what the JAXA facility looks like, and apparently they did a lot of research on the actual process of becoming an astronaut. So a lot of the tests and stuff that they do are real, and Serika is just I don't know.
She's just a cherry on top of a phenomenal story, and
someday Muta he'll have his waifu, You know what I mean?
We can hope. We can hope.
We can
He
only
deserves
hope
it.
We can only hope. Yeah, yeah, she is pretty great. So, good
And you
pick.
do have a catchy intro. I wrote it for you. For your waifu war.
Yeah, the segment itself. Which,
Yeah, that
The
big,
drop itself was me being very stupid and Mason going, no, that sounds good. I was like, oh, okay.
that's me just in the back yelling, "Send it!"
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. But I think we can move on to our main topic, which is going to be, what have we been watching recently? Why have we not watched My Hero Academia? Explain
Why
yourself.
have we only been watching Gintama?
Explain yourselves.
I'll try.
All right, so we're gonna be doing a segment here on what we've been watching. Definitely a lot of stuff here on the list. My list is a little shorter. I'm always sort of bringing up the rear, I think, but I'm doing my best. So who wants to kick this off? I mean, you guys have a tremendous amount of stuff on your list here that you can speak to.
Why don't you go first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I've been watching some stuff that I know is going to come down the pipeline on the podcast eventually. So, like Ahiru no Sora is pretty long, longer than I think we knew when we passed it. So I've been trying to keep up with it. It's a basketball anime, 52 episodes, and they've only got about 14 episodes out right now, and they go by really quick. It's basically shonen. I feel like you can watch 10 episodes of it in like a blink, but it's an okay show. I definitely have some gripes with it. Like, I'm pretty sure that I always feel like the people that like sometimes the people that make these sports shows, they don't really know much about the sport they're writing about. Like, and the studio has definitely botched up some stuff big time when like animating it. For example, there's more than a few times so far where they flat out just haven't drawn the lines on the basketball court right. So like he'll be shooting a 3-pointer, but they'll draw the basketball like the 3-pointer lines incorrectly, or they'll put his like spatial location on the court in a completely wrong spot. So he's shooting a 3-pointer, but he looks like he's standing just outside of the 3-point line on the other side of the court, if that makes sense. And I think
like
they
it's
just
like a reversed arc or something.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm pretty sure they just drew the lines on the court backwards. But I mean, really, like when you get down to it, the show is kind of like this. It's another one of those like ragtag. I'm like a ragtag bunch of guys who really shouldn't be like probably playing basketball because they don't really like it, or they've never played before, but they're still going to try to go to like the inter-high tournament. And you've got like the main character is like this. He's super passionate about basketball and he practices a lot, but he's only 5 feet tall. And then you've got like a bunch of these like derelict sort of like Yankee guys that just want to fight. But unlike the guys from Slam Dunk who are actually good at basketball, these guys have like never played before, and they're constantly trying to get them to like actually give a damn instead of going out and just eating ramen all the time or whatever.
So I watched episode 1 of this, I think a couple months back when you were first talking about it, and I really liked episode 1. It's got the same Namba from Space Brothers, just the thick boy version of it, and he's great. He's so nice.
Yeah, so he'll actually like it happens pretty quick, but he'll actually join the team and be a like a contributor, I would say. But yeah, they do some interesting things. Like they pretty much they show Sora, the main character, is revealed to be a more or less a liability on the team right off the bat. Some things that happen that don't make much sense, like you find out that he can't shoot the ball from like the left side of the court, and I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, if you're going to take 1,000 practice shots a day, you would think you'd practice from all spots on the court and not just the left side, and not completely leave the left side out. So they just blanket him when he's going on to the when he's on the right side, they blanket him. When he's on the left side, they just let him shoot. And he's also 5 feet tall, so anybody that's like 5'8" or taller could just put their hand right over him and he'd never be able to shoot the ball. So it's kind of coming out. They're showing some of that.
It's rough to hear that it fails on sort of like a fundamental level. Like, it's not like the characters, it's not the writing, it's just like the portrayal of the sport.
Well, they're taking a very like realistic approach to it. It's not like Kuroko no Basket. Like, they don't have like, they're not like borderline superpowered or whatever. But
Damn, what a shame.
yeah, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's as engaging as Kuroko no Basket, but like it's a little unrealistic to have to say like a 5-foot guy can overcome like, you know, shooting the ball over a guy who's like 6'3" just because he practices a lot. It's really not that realistic. And more or less, like, you know, he's not really like an overpowered character, but it's kind of going in that direction. It's kind of like an underdog story. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how they're gonna like manage to do that. Like he can't play under the basket at all because he's so short. He can't rebound. Period. And my thought was, well, you would flat out not be on the basketball team because if you can't rebound, you're a huge liability. But it's okay. Probably the best thing about the anime is that they get into some of like defensive formations. Like they get into like what zone is versus man to man. They get into like box one. So they get into like some defensive strategy when they're like the boys team plays the girls team, and the girls team, they're like way smaller and not as fast or whatever as the guys, but they're an actual team, whereas the guys are just like a bunch of individuals who just kind of met. And so in the girls team, like they know all these defensive formations, and they're going through how the defensive formations function, and the girls just beat the pants off the guys. And it's okay. It's pretty fun. Like I'm enjoying it, but I'm also like a big sucker for basketball stuff. So it's been pretty good. I'll come back later with a couple more of these, but why don't you guys dive into something that you want to talk about?
Sure. Mason can help me out with this one. I watched the part 2 of season 3 of Attack on Titan.
Woo!
Finally. It took forever.
Woo!
I was like, yeah, like when it first came out, I was like, I'm just going to wait till it finishes so that I can just binge the whole thing. And then I waited a bit too long. And then I was like, man, this is coming up, and like we're coming up to like our Oscars. I was like, I need to watch this I need to finish it before we do that. So I'm able to at least vote for it in categories, and I watched it and it was pretty good. We got a whole lot more on the background of what Titans are, but yeah, that Levi fight was
there was
some badass moments in this season.
You guys know me. I don't like being the basic voice of, oh, Attack on Titan's the best. Like that's what every normie says. I don't want to be that. I want to like,
Mason
the popular
would never be a normie.
I want to talk about how the popular stuff is bad. I want to, but I just can't fight it. It's just it's
I
too
hate
good.
you so much.
It's such a good series. I've got to give it props. And if that means anything, I'll watch it.
It doesn't matter. It could be the best show ever. Mason's like, it's popular. I can't like it. I have to hate it.
Well,
I have
that's
to
what I'm
be
saying.
an elitist.
This broke the bonds. This overcame my disdain.
Stop. But yeah, no, I actually thought it was pretty good. I will, yeah, like we were like I've said this before. I did not like season 2, and I thought at that point I was like, I'm pretty much done with Attack on Titan. Then season 3 started. I was like, that was pretty good. We did a review of it. I was like, that was way better than I was expecting. Maybe it's because I just was so over it in season 2. That's why I thought season 3 was so good. But then when part 2 came out of season 3, I was like, nah, this is pretty damn good. Still, bad CG horses. Anime can't do CG horses. What studio? Stop making horses.
You lose horse privileges.
You've lost your horse privileges. Just stop. Wow, what if Wit Studio came back and was like, no, we're going to do Steel Ball Run? That would be an actual nightmare. But
you can't take that from David Pro, though. You can't.
No, you can't. But it would be funny, though. Also, Koyasu Takehito is his own spoiler. He has such a particular way of speaking that when his character spoke, I was like, I know the Titan is, or the Beast Titan is, instantly. Look, Dio, I will always recognize Dio. It doesn't matter. You can alter the guy's voice. I always know who you are, Dio. I can hear you a mile away. But
because he's a Titan. That's why.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with it, though.
Are we just rotating through us?
Yeah, why don't you go?
Okay.
You guys are going to be ping-ponging, though, before long.
Gotcha. Well, I'll make mine quick, because I watched a whole bunch this week. The first thing I watched was all of No Guns Life, which ended up being all of the first half of No Guns Life, because it got a second season, which is really like a first season part 2 kind of thing. And I think I got a little bit of flack back in the day when I did not pass No Guns Life. It was one of my up for
You did?
reviews. A little bit. People were like, "Oh, it was pretty good." I'm like, "Yeah, it was, but it wasn't as good as some of the other stuff." So that's kind of, I think, how we felt about a couple of the shows that season. And overall, I enjoyed my time with it enough. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch part 2, but I'm glad I didn't pass it. I don't think it turned the corner or became something so grand, but it was a fun ride. This is like a good, just nighttime kind of turn your brain off show, and it's got potential to kind of go into some strange directions. The art kind of held up, kind of fell apart. It was wishy-washy, but overall not a terrible show. So I'm glad I revisited and finished it off.
All right. Well, and you know what? Don't worry too much about the flack, Mason. You can't let it get you down. You know what I'm saying?
I certainly don't. I just want to let people know. I hear your concerns, and I'm just ignoring them.
Yeah, that's Mason. I don't know. I dropped No Guns Life. I never picked it back up. I dropped it at like episode 5 or 6. I don't know. I just lost. It lost me.
Definitely saw enough then.
Yeah.
I'd say after a couple episodes, you absolutely know what you're getting into.
Well, I started watching Fire Force. I know it's coming, and it's fairly long, and so I started to get a head start on that. And I can't you know what? I'm probably gonna get flack for this, but I cannot understand what the hype is with Fire Force. As far as I can tell, it's just not good. I mean, I don't want to be like I don't know if you guys have watched any of it, but
no, I haven't.
I have not watched a single second.
I watched 2 episodes. First episode, I was like, holy shit, the animation in this is really good. I'm really excited for it. Second episode, or maybe it was a third. I could be wrong. Could have been 3 episodes. Whenever they start molesting the one girl, I was like,
It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of that, and I was like, I don't know.
It comes out of nowhere. That scene that you're talking about is like during it's like during their whatever the hell it's called, the rookie exam. It's basically like a spin on field day or sports day, in Japan. And there's not a whole lot of that. Like in that scene, they definitely did it. There's definitely some of that, but I'm only on like episode 8, so I can't really speak definitively.
I thought you were like done.
No, heck no. But like the show is it's just not good. I mean, I don't want to discourage anybody from like liking what they like, but it has virtually no story at all. I mean, the story is like basically I became this firefighter guy and I am going to help people. Like that's the story. That's the whole thing. And they might be getting into something now that they captured like an infernal that's sentient, and I guess they're going to do something with that. But I don't know. I really think that like the draw of the show is as you said, the animation and the fighting. But I don't find the fighting to be engaging, and the characters are very you just kind of don't care. So it's like I feel like a lot of these shows where you're fighting a lot, you care more about the fight scenes if you care about the characters, like, oh, this character might die, and then you're really engaged and you're kind of nervous and you're worried about it. Like, they used to kill people in Attack on Titan all the time, and you would always wonder, oh my god, is this the moment when so and so is gonna die? But like in Fire Force, you almost just don't give a damn, and so that's a big problem. It's very I'm kind of I'm working through it, but I'm not very engaged. I will say the opening is awesome. I mean, the opening theme song is one of the best, I'd say, of last year that I heard. But I mean, that doesn't really make up for the show itself. And I know Enzo failed this, and then the listeners brought it back.
Yeah.
So so my opinions here probably aren't very popular, but yeah, I mean, if you don't have engaging characters and the story's not engaging, it's almost just like a bunch of fight scenes with no consequences. And I don't know. I'm just not interested in it really, but I am going to continue working through it. So. Okay.
Yeah, I've actually heard that the last few episodes were really strong is what I've heard online, or on Twitter. So
Fire Force?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, but
I've heard
isn't
that the ending gets really strong.
But
I
isn't
don't
that
know.
like what anime does sometimes? It's like, oh, here's this really long show, and 80% of it's
Anime
gonna
does
be
that a lot.
it's gonna be meandering and bullshit, and then here's your story in the last 3 episodes. Like, I don't know. It kind of makes me feel like I'm wasting my time, and I might as well just like skip to the end to get the story or something. You know, I won't do that, but you know, that's kind of how I always feel. But
Yeah, I was waiting till the review week to watch it, so we'll see.
the Twitch stream is asking which opening I'm referring to, and I'm talking about the first one, the first opening, whatever that one's called.
Whatever the good one is, that's the one that's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's got some
Good job,
good,
Mason.
It's
Mason
got
got
great rhythms in it. I love it.
Yeah, guys, guess what? I'm almost done with season 1 of Gintama.
That's amazing. It's crazy.
Season 1
Almost.
being 201.
One episode.
God.
Which, on the grand scale of things, I'm halfway through.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm at 191. I think I only have 10 more episodes of season 1.
Oh, by next podcast episode, you'll be officially a completed Gintama person.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if that's a
season
badge of honor or shame, but congrats.
Yeah, after season 1, I'm gonna take a little break to just to watch other things. But guys, I'm really enjoying Gintama, which is crazy. When I first started it, I was like, told Mason this. I was like, I don't know. But now I'm like, it's so easy for me to binge through. It's such ridiculous, stupid comedy in it, but the characters are just really growing on me, and I'm starting to really like fall in love with them.
Who are your, let's say, top 3 characters right now?
So my favorite arcs so far have been the Yoshiwara arcs, and that introduced Tsukuyo, and I love her so much. She's great. And she's probably one of my favorite characters now. I love Kyubey. The interesting thing about Gintama is I like all of the female characters a lot more than the guys. I really like Gintoki a lot. He's a lot of fun, and his kind of like that. He's really bad at like
Life.
life, and also expressing himself. But he's actually a real big sweetheart downside. But
That's all the candy he's eating.
Yeah.
That's why he's a sweetheart, because he's got diabetes.
I also relate to his hyperglycemic lifestyles. I relate to that. I like him. I like Kyubey a lot. I like Tsukuyo, and I like Kagura a lot too. She's really grown on me. When I first started, I wasn't too hot on Kagura, but
have
she's getting up
you?
there.
No spoilers. Have you met her family yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You mean the Hisoka? Basically.
You'll meet her
One who's
whole
like-
family eventually.
The one, well, I mean, like, not as weird as Hisoka, but he's also like, I am going to protect you so that one day we can fight. He is my prey. Don't touch him. That guy. Yeah. Yeah, he's a crazy guy. Her brother. There are a few episodes in there that were kind of boring for me. It's usually Kagura's father. There's a whole episode about her father, and I was like, I kind of got bored with that one.
It's 200 episodes. They can't all be zingers, but it's good. And I think the next 2 parts of Gintama are my favorite. So excited for you to eventually get to those after you take a break.
Yeah, there's some really funny episodes, and I'm driving our private chat crazy by constantly putting up screenshots in there of just all of the meta humor. Kills me every time. Like they had an intro once of like they're doing a live action Gintama. They're making fun of like the Dragon Ball live action, and they're just all mannequins, and they're like touring the Sunrise Studio, and it was killing me.
I love the
opening.
opening.
It was so funny.
I love the opening where they end it with like a sick like drifting power slide on the moped. But then one of them, they mess up and they fall and get in a huge crash, and they're complaining about how like these are supposed to be like reused animation cuts. So how'd you mess it up this time?
Yeah.
Like, you tried drifting for like 30 episodes straight and not messing up once.
Also, Katsura. Katsura has grown on me. I love that dumb boy
Not
so
Katsura.
much. He is so
Zura
stupid.
Janai.
He's like, not Zura, I'm Katsura.
So good.
Yeah, that boy is so dumb. I love it. But yeah. I also like the OP where they just like it was during the arc with the popularity contest, and someone takes out the actual author of Gintama, so they had to redo the intro of just like stick people, and it was killing me. Oh man, I love that the author and the people who are on the team put themselves in the anime to have heart-to-heart talk discussions with the characters. It's so funny. They have brainstorming sessions on how they can make Gintama successful.
I think
And it's so funny to see like his own characters giving him information, like giving him advice.
I think the next season you start getting the JoJo powers where they start using the sound effects as weapons, as physical weapons. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, that's exciting. I already got one JoJo episode or arc with the ghost or the ghost like hot spring episode, but Gintoki was so scared of ghosts, he's like, no, they're stands. These are stand abilities. And so now after that, all of the ghosts were stands.
Love it.
Oh, it's so good. I'm loving it so much.
Where does Gintama fall on the Hunter x Hunter scale?
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's like if you had to rank all the shonen shows, I imagine for you, Hunter x Hunter is probably near the top.
I mean, Hunter x Hunter is the top.
It's the top. So I guess to be more direct, how does Gintama stack up to Hunter x Hunter?
I mean, it's a completely different show. Gintama is not a battle anime. This is like, we're just gonna make fun of Shonen Jump. It is just it makes a lot of Hunter x Hunter jokes in there as well. It's always like Gintoki will come out with a Shonen Jump magazine. He's like, man, they put Hunger x Hunger on hiatus again. And they talk about like, oh man, that guy he must be a manipulator. They make a lot of Hunter x Hunter jokes in Gintama. They make fun of every Shonen Jump franchise you could think of. And they just, man, I don't know. It's a comedy. It's not. There are arcs in there that are battle, like slightly more serious, but overall, it's a big goofy time. So it's a completely different type of show. But as far as shonen, I haven't seen a ton of Shonen Jump, guys. I'm so sorry. Like, I have never watched Naruto.
Yeah, well,
so you watch that one episode of Vinland Saga. That's all you need to know.
You can't watch everything, you know.
Yeah, I've never seen Naruto. As crazy as that sounds, but I don't know. I don't know how I would rank it.
I've only seen half of Naruto. I watched the first half, including all the filler. But I mean, yeah, I haven't watched any Shippuden. So
I've never seen Bleach. I've never seen One Piece. I'm a mess, guys. I'm sorry.
You're a mess, yeah, right. All right, Mason.
That was the Gintama Power Hour, everybody.
Man, I'll still keep talking about it. There's some jokes in there, they kill me.
Well, Mandi can help me with this one, and this I'm assigning to people as training for the show we're about to review. But Please Take My Brother Away, Season 3.
Okay.
This is obviously the third season of 3-minute long, 4-minute long episodes about these two characters, brother and sister, who go to school and get in hijinks and wackiness. And this might be the most perfect show for what it is. This show is flawless. This show is
flawless.
Flawless.
This is 4 minutes of people who know exactly how much time they have, how much budget they have, and what characters they have. And they spend every second of that in the best way possible towards making these jokes land. And it's such an easy watch to get through. I mean, it takes it's like half an hour. You blast through it, and it's just every episode lands with this big joke. It gets right there to the point. It's goofy, but it still like builds up. It's not like a comedy where stuff happens, everything goes to poop, and it like resets next episode. Like it slowly builds. You slowly learn about the characters and these just comedic, heartwarming relationship, goofy. I don't know how to say it more than that. It's quicker to just go there and give it a shot. You can watch them on YouTube or wherever else you find your anime, and it's just good. It's just knows exactly what it's doing, and I highly recommend it.
Let me just clarify. Did you call an anime flawless?
For what it has to work with and what its intentions are, it's just about perfect.
I was just checking because I don't know that I've ever heard such words leave your lips.
I'm trying
It's
to sell
really
people on
funny.
it. It's just really funny. It gets to the point. It knows what it's going for, and it just hits its mark every single
I gotta
time.
look this up.
And it was originally a Chinese. Did you say it's a Chinese anime? Did you tell them that?
Yes, but it's
Mhm.
unlike Modao. It has a Japanese
Yes. Done.
language and voice cast, but it gets you used to listening to Chinese names, which is often like the most difficult part about Chinese anime or donghua, because you're just not used to that. Even though it's, for a lot of people, Japanese is not their native language. Somehow you still get like used to it, and kind of learning the Chinese name system can be a little bit rough. So this is a good stepping stone, a good training bridge to get you over to what Dao Zu Shi will be. But I really enjoy this show. It's every time there's a new season, I just wait for it to complete, and I watch it all, and I have a big old smile on my face the whole time. The characters are lovable, and even when you know what the joke is, they do some little thing, some little tweak to just make it land that much more. And of course, comedy is subjective. I can't even talk right now, but it's a fantastic time. So
Same for the voice cast is so good in
It
this
is.
one. The Yusei that they chose. The main guy is voiced by this Nakamura, who also does Kuro in Haikyuu, and I just watched Haikyuu, and that's that's all I kept thinking of the entire time.
oh no.
Was every time he does like that like he has like a higher pitched voice, like his scream is so like recognizable, and I was like, all I kept thinking of was of please take my brother away the entire time.
So I specifically think season 3 has been the best season yet. So
Do you? Okay.
yeah, I definitely thought it was worth it. But
What
we
were
can
some
keep
of
on-
your favorite jokes?
Ooh, I love racing for toilet paper. That's a classic, and just the enjoyment you get out of that makes sense in context. Like the getting sick thing, we've seen that theme before, but just like how aggressive he jumps in front of the snot, that had a nice
love
visceral
that-
impact to it.
I love the rich kid so much. That whole episode where he's like, I don't want them to find out that I'm rich because they're not gonna like me anymore. So then he makes up like this, like
Slum
his
that he
money
lives in.
buy a slum. It's not like makes this like he lives in this like little tiny, just completely garbage like apartment. It's so funny, and they're like terrified to be in there. And he's like thinking like, man, maybe I overdid this. Just like spiders and everything, just covered in spiders. Yeah, it's a fun time though.
It's good. It's a quick watch. Give
His
it a shot.
relationship with his sister is really funny.
Yeah,
The episode where she uses him to practice putting on makeup. Oh my
That was
god.
good.
And the ending to it is so good.
Check it out, people. Anyway, moving on. I've got a lot to talk about. What do you got,
Oh.
Mitz?
I've watched around half of the first season of Dr. Stone, and enjoying it pretty well. I mean, it's different for sure than like your typical shonen shows, and it has some pretty. Boy, the character designs are weird. I
Yeah.
mean, they're very inconsistent. Like, what's the main girl? Yuzuriha, I think her name is. She's unbelievably cute, but then every once in a while you get a shot, and it's like the facial modeling is way off, and so she goes from being like just one of the cutest characters you'll see to being very strange looking, all potentially like in the same couple moments, and like the animation is just very inconsistent on the character models. But the story itself is, I'm really curious to see where it's going. It has like the whole mystery of, what caused humanity to turn into stone kind of lingering over it. And on top of it all, at least at this point in the show, they're kind of getting their bearings, and it's like it's partially like a survival show, and then half like a vying for power, I would say, and it's been really enjoyable. You got to suspend a lot of disbelief when you're watching it because some of the stuff that happens is, like, oh, this rock thing, this rock stuff heals you, and I guess that's where they got the name Dr. Stone from. Although I thought it was.
No, the stone comes from the ability to turn it into soap, not the rock thing. Something else could be used for partially for soap, and because soap is the greatest defense against disease and stuff like that. I could be wrong though. But that's
okay. There was a moment where
someone who hasn't seen most or any episodes of it.
Well, there's a moment in the show where they heal somebody with the stone, by putting the stone, they put the little the nitric acid acid juice on it, and they're like, oh well, this will heal. This heals not only what it's covering but everything around it, and they'll break it and they'll pour it on, and it breaks the stone off. And he goes, and I think he said something like, oh, this is an amazing healing thing. This is our Dr. Stone. So maybe you're right, but but maybe just in that moment. But I thought Senku was the Dr. Stone because he's all science and stuff. But boy, I really enjoyed his backstory. But I kept thinking, man, his family, his parents are not only are his parents great because they sold everything in their house to get him his science equipment, but I really enjoyed his backstory that they did for about an episode. It's fun watching him kind of grow up and making all the science stuff and launching rockets and whatnot. They did do a recap, a filler episode. It was a recap episode, an episode 5. And I was thinking, what the hell needs a recap episode in episode 5? It was the second half of episode 5 and then the first half of episode 6 was just totally a recap. And I was kind of stunned by that because it's usually you'd see that at the halfway point, if anything. Mm-hmm. But it's been pretty enjoyable. It's not a fighting show, at least not at this point. I'm not sure where it's going to go, but it's
where
been pretty...
I left off. It still wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to be the focus of it. It's more about it's more thoughtful than that, I guess I would say. Mm-hmm. But I'm definitely enjoying it, and I know we're going to review it probably in a month or so. But it's
you need to watch a water-based show. I'm looking at the things you've been watching. You have Fire Force, Dr. Stone, and Ahiru no Sora, which is wind or sky. So you need gotta complete your elemental powers.
Oh shit! You're not wrong. Oh wow.
Anyway,
that's very observant of you, by the way. Yeah,
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of moving my way through these shows, and they've all been pretty good. I mean, sort of with the exception of Fire Force, but I'm enjoying sort of just kind of taking my time and flipping through these different series. So
awesome. I could talk about 2 episode 1s of what's come out in this season that I thought were pretty interesting. The first one was Somali, which I watched the Somali and the Guardian of the Forest. I can't remember if Mason mentioned that. Did you mention that recently?
I did mention it because it was so charming. I loved it. As soon as by the time the OP starts after a minute and a half into the show, and before that OP was over, I was sold. I put all my money on Somali. I was instantly hooked.
Yeah, it was very charming, and it feels like it's going to be a very slow anime, but it's very atmospheric. There's just so many just interesting, the environment's interesting, the whole entire setup is interesting, just the world, and yeah, I'm really interested in seeing more of it, and it's out on Crunchyroll right now. So
I love the look of the backgrounds.
Yeah, the backgrounds
are
really cool.
Crazy detailed kind of look, but they just had this not watercolor aesthetic, but they had a softness to it that was just comforting.
It feels very otherworldly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing more. Do you know what day that comes out? Is it Mondays? I can't remember what day it comes out.
Don't we watch them on Saturdays in the Discord watch party, so sometime during the week before then, so between the days of Saturday and Saturday.
Is 2 out now?
I did not think so.
Okay. Yeah, I'd really like one of us to pick it up for an impression, so I don't know who's going to do it, but I'm sure one of us will.
By our powers combined.
The other one was Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, which I did a manga minute on. I talked about the manga. This one is going to be really difficult for me because, man, I really enjoyed the manga. The manga is very wholesome, but also has kind of a very like cute and scary feeling to it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a kind of creepy aesthetic to it, but also cute. And the anime that I watched the first episode, and yeah, it also has a very interesting art style to it. Very bright colors. I really like how they did the character designs. My only problem is there's hardly any animation at all. That's like my issue with it right now. Like, out of like mouth flaps and walking, there's not much else. Everything else is mostly still frames, and a part of me wants to be like, why not just read the manga then? I mean,
Right,
you
exactly.
get voice acting and you get very bright colors, but I do love the design of it, and so I'm struggling with it. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna see where I am after 3 episodes, but yeah, I'm torn on it right now because I want to love it because I like the manga a lot. It's a lot of fun. So we'll see. I've seen a lot of people say like they love the art style of it and they're loving the first episode, or they love the first episode and can't wait for more. So I don't know. We'll see.
Nice. I'll just pick a couple of mine and save the rest for next time because I had a lot to go through. Really quick, another short one. I think Mandi, actually, you might have watched this too. Was Kaze no Matsuburo, which is like a 22-minute short film from the 2016 Young Animator Training Project. It's done by Studio Bluemon, which has done essentially nothing. It's just a small, studio. It's like almost got like a Paper Mario, like these 2D visuals with like CG movement and depth. It's kind of a cool aesthetic. All like the patterns in the characters have this like flickering and shifting sense, which gives it like a little bit of kineticness, even though they're kind of moving very relaxed, and it's kind of just a calming series. It's got a bunch of adorable animals in it. It's not really worth watching. I don't give it like a strong recommendation or anything, but if you want just something, I don't even know how to describe the plot. It's just a day. It's just a cute, relaxing thing if you have like a young kid that you're like, hey, shut up for 22 minutes, watch this. I don't know, it was fine. I was expecting
AKA me.
It was nice, it was fine. Check it out if you just like seeing different art styles, but not too much depth in it.
I will say the biggest crime of that entire like short movie is no one pick up the damn turtle. That poor turtle. Turtle was the best character over. And they just let him just hey
guys, wait for me. Nope, get screwed, Franklin.
Yeah, I was like, hang on.
We got adventures to get to. They pick him up later.
It was rude. I would have picked up that turtle instantly because he was the cutest.
I watched all of Humanity Has Declined, which
I want to watch that.
I've always kind of had on my list. I've always heard it's kind of like a off-brand variant, kind of sunshiny pastel, brightly colored version of
Sakura Quest?
No, not Sakura Quest. Okay. I guess a little bit Sakura Quest, but mainly like the style of humor is Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei. Like it's a very like
I didn't know that.
Not depressing, but it's very much a cutesy take on like the rise of like civilizations and the flaws of man, and like it's like usually 1 or 2 episode arcs where this character is kind of expounding on humanity's virtues as portrayed through cute little fairies, and it's like just a fun show. It has an opening from NaNoWriMo, which is always a great opening. So I know I heard the song and I'm like, I know that song. I know this. I am with it. And it was a fun time. It's definitely an easy watch, but it definitely goes in ways that most animes I've never seen go before. It talks about a lot of philosophical ideas. So despite its cute demeanor, it's a bit of a heavy watch. And I moderately strongly recommend it. It was a good time. I just like
moderately strongly.
It was unique, but it's definitely not for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's on my list. It's been on my list for a while, and after I finish Gintama, I'm gonna probably jump into that and just bust it out real quick because it's only like 12 episodes.
Yeah, it's a pretty short watch. What else? I watched Yuki Yuna as a Hero, which is I went into it expecting it to be a Madoka Magica knockoff, and it kind of was, but it was actually so much more. I actually really enjoyed this a lot. Episode 2 was a bit off-putting. There was a little bit of fan service, but it really turned it around. I really liked the first episode and a lot of everything that came past it. The ending was not quite my jam, not quite my speed, but besides that, I think it got into a lot of good terms. I liked it a whole lot more than what I've seen of the new Madoka legit spin-off, the Magia Records. This got into it played upon your expectations, got dark when you thought it would get light, got dark when you thought it would get. It just played around with the formula just enough that I was actually intrigued, and I liked a lot of the themes that it had. A little more school moments more than just magical girl stuff, but it was an enjoyable ride nonetheless. But only check it out if you want more of that style. It's not going to sway any fans. What do you think? Do we have time to talk about movies or wrap things up?
I don't know. I think we might be out of time. I was going to talk about the Haikyuu OVA in the first episode, but that's okay.
We'll save all this for next time.
Yeah,
but also, if you want me to talk about any other shows, go to my Mal, MAKLAX, and just tell me what else I should watch and talk about.
My plans for what I'm watching after Gintama. I want to watch that one that you just mentioned. I also want to watch Rainbow and Kingdom a lot.
Rainbow,
so I'm going to try to bust those out. But yeah, it's going to be weird going from Gintama into something else, because all I feel during the entirety of Gintama is that they're having so much fun making it. This seems like this studio is having, or the staff is having so much fun adapting it and doing just all kinds of weird, crazy shit. They're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's have a popularity contest poll, and then we'll make episodes based on those characters being upset about their popularity rank. It's so much fun. It's going to be weird going to something else, but we'll see.
Yes, yeah. There's a couple shows I have on my plan to watch, but not really. So I could use any suggestions you guys want to see. So just let me know. Cool. Anything else?
Not really. Nothing on my end. I'm, just kind of meandering my way through life, I would say.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, we are going to go into our next trivia break. The trivia question is, which of the following anime are not nominated for Anime of the Year in this year's Crunchyroll Awards? Is it Demon Slayer, Carol on Tuesday, Omane's in Your Savage Season, or Dororo? If you're listening earlier, we already gave you the answer. But we will answer it for you after the break.
Hey, all you anime junkies out there, Mitsuki is back, bringing you another round of that sweet, sweet anime news. Leading us off with Mob Psycho 100. Crunchyroll Games launched the Mob Psycho 100 Psychic Battle smartphone game, which is available for iOS and Android devices both last Thursday. And the game's going to be available it's out in the United States and other territories, including Australia, New Zealand, and tons of other places, Canada, and a lot of different countries throughout Europe. The original turn-based RPG game has full 3D graphics and lets players interact with their favorite characters from the Mob Psycho 100 game. So if you are interested in turn-based RPGs and you love Mob Psycho 100, check out the Crunchyroll Games Mob Psycho 100 Psychic Battle game, which is probably out wherever you are right now. Next up, Satoshi Kon. His film, Tokyo Godfathers, is getting an anime stage play in 2021. This is going to be running at the National New Theater in Tokyo in May of 2021. So it's pretty far off, but anytime Satoshi Kon is in the news, it seems like it's a fairly big deal. And it looks like it's going to be directed by Shuntaro Fujita, who worked on the Japanese version of Jersey Boys. And the original film, of course, of Tokyo Godfathers premiered in Japan in November of 2003. Very heartwarming, sort of fun holiday film about 3 people that are all homeless that find a baby in a dumpster and go on a sort of quest to return the baby to its family. So if you happen to be in Japan in May of 2021, you can watch this stage play at the New National Theater in Tokyo. Next up, Pokemon is in the news. Pokemon Direct live stream, it has announced that they are going to be launching a service, Pokemon Home Cloud. The Pokemon Home will allow players to bring over their Pokemon from lots of different places. Pokemon Go, Pokemon Bank, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee into the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield games. So you'll be able to transfer these, but they must appear in the base games of their upcoming expansions. If you're a big fan of Pokemon and you have Pokemon scattered all throughout these different games, well, you probably will want to check out this Pokemon Home Cloud service. It's going to allow you to sort of connect these together. The Pokemon Sword and Shield games launched this last November, and the games have already sold more than 6 million copies, which was in their first week, which is a record for the Switch game franchises. If you're a big fan of Pokemon, look out for that coming out sometime soon. Next up, Nippon Ichi Software, which is the company best known for its Disgaea series, has announced that it is establishing a new subsidiary called System Soft Beta, which seems to be a subsidiary to a successor to the System Soft Alpha division that they previously had. The subsidiary was founded on December 3rd and started operations on January 1st with the goal of bringing entertainment for all and worldwide success. So personally as a fan of Nippon Ichi Software and the Disgaea and other games that they've made, hoping that this company continues to see success throughout the launching of this new subsidiary. This is Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break, and now let's get back to the podcast right now. Anime Addicts, winter is back, and that means Japan is no longer hot, so the chocolates are safe. And JList.com knows this, and they're offering lots of new chocolate treats for your enjoyment straight from Japan. You can head over to JList.com or JBox.com, their non-adult mirror site, and experience some of the most incredible chocolate snacks straight from Japan. They have dozens and dozens of Kit Kat flavors, including the legendary green tea Kit Kat, which is probably my favorite. The Melty Kiss delectable chocolates, which come in lots of different flavors. Pocky flavors that you'll only find in Japan, and so much more. All these products are around $3 or less, so you can get quite a lot of yummy chocolate snacks straight from Japan for a very, very small amount of money. Head over to JList.com or, again, the JBox.com, the non-adult mirror site, and get your chocolate and Japanese snack fix.
Hi, this is Sabrina Palencia, voice of Rei Ayanami, and I'm an anime addict.
And then she cries.
Hey guys, we're back to the podcast, and we left you with a trivia question. Which of the following are not nominated for Anime of the Year in the Crunchyroll Awards? Demon Slayer, Carol and Tuesday, O Maidens, and Your Savage Season, or Dororo? Somewhat surprisingly, Dororo is not nominated. So, and guys, for those of you that haven't taken advantage yet, we do have a brand new feature on our website that will let you access all of our exclusive content, our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties, all via a password-protected RSS feed that you can access on your favorite podcast apps like Podcast Addicts, Pocket Cast, the Apple Podcast app, and numerous others. So when you become a member on the website, you get access to this, so you can now access all of our extra content the same way you would all of your other podcasts and whatever your preferred method is. So much more convenient than what we had before, which was just via the website only. So please take advantage of that. And of course, that's also available to people that support us on Patreon and don't want to leave them out. So thank you to everybody that does contribute. So, and speaking of contributing, we also have a lot of people writing us 5-star reviews on iTunes, and We always appreciate those, so we're going to read one right now.
It's time for iTunes review.
This comes to us from Kagura7, who writes, "My favorite anime podcast."
Yay.
Wait a second. We had Shinpachi 8. Now
And
Kagura.
Kagura7. Ooh,
What the heck here?
when's Gintoki 6 gonna come in?
No, he's Kentucky 1.
He's not
When
number
is
one.
when is Okita 2 gonna come in?
Possibly. They write, "I started watching anime back in 1995, but took a long break from it from 2005 to 2017. Work, marriage, new hobbies, yada, yada, yada. When it was time to get back into it, I felt overwhelmed. So much content out there, so many shows. I knew I needed help figuring out the best shows to watch and catch up on. That's when I found AAA Podcast, a lifesaver. I quickly fell in love with the format of the show and the warm and knowledgeable personalities of its host. I binged over 50 episodes in my first month and recently became a patron. Well, thank you very much."
Yeah,
I'm
thank you.
dissatisfied about the fact that there were no dedicated RSS feed for the extra content. A quick message on their Discord channel. Ooh, I like the plug. I like this.
Oh, snap. Here we
A
go.
quick message on their Discord channel, and the issue was quickly addressed. Thank you, Mitz. You actually did that super fast. 2 weeks later, feed was created. That's why I called caring about its subscriber. That's what I call caring about its subscribers and community. Amazing show, amazing team. Thank you so much for the time and effort you put in every single week for us.
Aw, thank
thanks.
you.
You shouldn't have, but you should. And by you, I mean you, listener. Please give us more 5-star reviews like that one. That was so lovely. That was so nice. Thank you once again.
That it is.
Well, we do care about you guys, so yeah. I remember that moment. He was like, "Oh, we don't have a dedicated RSS feed." Boom, there it was. About a week later.
Boom,
So,
shakalaka.
boom, shakalaka. And if you want to write some more 5-star reviews from us, keep our, I don't even know, what is it, like 200 consecutive episodes now with a 5-star review. We got to keep the streak alive. Please go to iTunes, write a review for us, and we will read it on the podcast and love you forever. And now we're going to review Dao Zu Shi.
Yeah. So Dao Zu Shi was one of my picks. I actually picked season 2. I don't remember what season it came out in. It may have been spring or summer, one of those.
It started airing in August of 2019.
Summer
so,
then. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that there was a weird delay. I can't remember. I know that what was it? King's Avatar 2 was also supposed to come out, and then it never did. So I couldn't remember if this was one of them, because I think Dao Zu Shi 2 was supposed to come out in spring, and then I had to delay it because it never came out until summer, and then I did summer. But I did choose season 2, but because season 2 is so short, we decided just to group the entire thing into one, all Dao Zu Shi season 1 and 2. So Dao Zu Shi is based on a novel series, and it is a Chinese anime, or I think it's also called donghuas. And yeah, it's a very interesting series about like a fantasy series about these people who are these clans that are trying to explore like this mystical art of cultivation. And it follows this character named Waifu, as he is known for having a very unconventional and forbidden path in this cultivation, and how his actions lead to a lot of conflict, and also about just his rise, his death, and reincarnation. And yeah, it's a very very heavy series. There's a lot in here to discuss, but it was also adapted by Studio GC May, who GC May Animation and Film, and they also did the King's Avatar series, if you have seen that, and that is the series about esports. But yeah, what were your guys' expectations going in? I guess either season 1 or 2, whichever one you guys went into first.
Well, I knew it was a fantasy show. The reviews online were pretty strong, so I kind of peruse some of the available online content just to kind of get my sense of what I was going to be watching, and I think I had pretty high expectations. All the online comments seemed to be pretty positive. And I knew it was Chinese, but this isn't the first time we've watched something like that, so wasn't really like all that thrown off by it. But I mean, I didn't know a lot about it, so I went in mostly blind, I would say.
I'm in the same boat. I went in, hearing a little murmurings about it being actually a really good show. Don't sleep on it just because it's not quote unquote anime. And check it out. I mean, I hadn't watched King's Avatar before I got into it. I didn't know anything from the studio, and I just went in expecting a good show.
Yeah, so I was the same. I had no expectations going into the first season. I had seen King's Avatar, and I knew that I liked King's Avatar. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite thing in the world, but I definitely enjoyed it. And then I believe it was Mason who, actually a lot of people on Discord before Mason did were like, you should watch Dao Zu Shi. I was like, maybe. And then Mason watched it. And when Mason says it's a good show, it's like, oh, okay, I'll go check it out, because Mason hates everything. So
Oh, poor Mason.
Mikey likes it.
yeah, so I was like, oh, interesting. So my impressions at the first, like when I first started watching the first episode, I was under the impression that it was going to end up being just like a typical kind of demon hunting kind of story. It ended up being something very different. So I did not have any expectations going into it other than that. Now we'll just go into our spoiler-free recommendations. What did you guys think?
I'm kind of lukewarm about it, to be honest. I don't know. I guess you can. This might be obvious, but you can tell it's not coming from Japan. I think like the designs, the sort of the flow of the show, the animation, it all kind of feels a little different, I guess. Some people might prefer the way that it is, to what they normally are watching. I don't know. I think that's definitely a personal preference. But I don't know. I just it was okay, but I don't think I enjoyed it a whole lot. I think that the premise is interesting, but I found the story to move pretty slow. All the characters look pretty much the same. I really struggled. I'm not gonna lie. I really struggled with the characters in the anime a lot. I think it's because all their names are they're all Chinese names, and I'm not familiar with Chinese names very much, and so they didn't stick in my head the way that I think Japanese names do, and maybe you guys don't agree, but I feel like almost all the characters look almost identical. They're all tall, they all have long black hair, and they're all really pretty. And the only way I was able to really even tell the characters apart was because of the clothing that they wear. And thank the Lords, they don't really change their outfits, because I would be in so much trouble. That being said, I do think the show got interesting towards the end, for sure. But I might tell people to take a pass on it. I think that there's a lot of fantasy stuff out there, and yeah, that's about the gist of it.
So I feel like I should come at this from like a 2-part review, from like Dao Zu Shi season 1 and like season 2 is this almost separate but equal thing. I guess I first want to say, I mean, obviously spoiler free, I agree with everything Mitch just said, except I think that's why I like this show so much. Yes, everything does look different than Japanese. I love the look of it. Everything sounds different. I felt that refreshing. The designs are different. I thought that was cool. Like, this was, I mean, I always talk about how I want stuff that just feels and looks and sounds different than what I'm used to, something that breaks up the norm. And this is absolutely that. I think it looks and sounds phenomenal. I think the plot is extremely dense and not easy to just frivolously get into. This, both from the difficulty of remembering names, to clans, to the intertwining relationships, to the backstories, to the power structure, it is not an easy watch. So if you're looking for a quick and dirty, let me just snack on something that I'll watch one episode every now and then while I eat dinner, this is not for you.
No.
I was, and maybe this is part of why I, I really like season 1. I think season 1 is phenomenal. Part of probably what I disliked about season 2 is just it took some time for it to come out. And in that time I forgot some of the intricacies, and maybe I just didn't grasp everything that was going on. But I came away from season 2 feeling like, yes, this is still a good show and I enjoyed it, but it didn't hit me in the same way as 1. And I wonder how much of that was not watching it back to back. So if you have not seen the series yet, you have the privilege of watching it back to back, and lucky for you. I would say I'd say this deserves a 3 or 4 episode test. I think, initially you will have difficulty with the names and stuff, but if you can stick through that, give it a couple more episodes, and if it's not appealing to you, you've probably got your feel for it. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. Just be warned that it's not a walk in the park.
Yeah, for sure what Mason said. This is such a dense series. There's so much going on. There are so many different clans, so many people in each of those clans, and they all have history with each other. And what Mason was saying that makes it so difficult to watch, and why you should definitely watch more than 3 episodes, is because after 2 episodes, it goes way back in time to try and fill in the gaps of what happened to bring the main character up to the moment in the first episode. And then when you get into season 2, this is no spoilers, by the way, but when you get into season 2, it actually goes back and calls back to like the very first episode and tries to fill in all of the the mysteries behind that, like something that happened in the first episode, the very first episode of season 1. It's a dense series. You have to watch it all at once because, yeah, you will forget things. And it can be really difficult to try and catch back up on. But I absolutely recommend it. It is such a great watch. It's so different. There's a lot of Chinese folklore in there, and there's so much going on between all the different clans. There's some really lovable characters in there. The artwork is gorgeous, although this team does mix a lot of 2D and 3D, and some of the 3D can be janky. Mm-hmm. I will say that. Even in King's Avatar, they just have some very janky 3D animation. But for the most part, the artwork is gorgeous, and it's so different from what we usually see, and really gorgeous music as well. I do highly recommend it. Also, if you want to watch it, it's not on like your normal streaming platforms, but it is legally available on YouTube. The entire thing, the company put it out on YouTube themselves, so it's not like a pirate site or anything. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Sergeant Cream Puff in the chat, really quick, asks, "Is it kind of like Durarara with all the people?" And I would say no, not really. No, it's not a multiple narratives that intertwine. It's just one that all these characters play a role in, and it's not as massive a cast as maybe we're making it out to be.
This is a completely different type of series, but I would say compare it maybe to like Game of Thrones style, where it's just like there are so many different clans going on. They all have, it's not, I wouldn't say as grand as Game of Thrones, but like just think of it like as in like all of the characters have like conflict in just history with each other, and there's just so many. They
throw a lot at you at the beginning.
Yes, yeah, they throw a lot at you.
So try to keep up, Sonny. Okay, now we can do spoilers.
Let's go into our spoiler section. After I am done talking and our spoiler drop is dropped, you have till that time to get out of here if you've not seen it, and then come back later and listen to our review.
Go get your ice cream and then come back.
Oh my god!
Yeah, spoiler alert, it is heavily sponsored by Cornetto.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if you like ice cream, this is the show for you. So now if you have your ice cream, take it out and enjoy it.
There were definitely a few too many moments in this where I'm watching and I'm just like, hum-de-dum, they're going through town. And then like, boom, a Cornetto in his hand. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, this is like, quit trolling me.
It's so great. They have like fully animated, gorgeous ads for Cornetto.
Yeah, the commercials.
Like, what the hell?
The commercials are definitely great. There's no doubt about that.
Like, yeah, you always feel like it's part of the show until the moment where it does become part of the show.
Well, I have to assume when this aired, it was aired alongside other commercials, so it was more obvious. But I like how, we have to get it out of the way. They do have the ads included into the series where you just are like, oh, this is an interesting scene, and then boom, cornetto. Or they will redo a scene from the show, but just instead of like the conflict
Cornetto.
happening, they'll be like, now's the perfect time for a cornetto snack, and they'll break it out and have a good old time. And it's like, you got me again, show.
Every single time they got me.
It's like when people post those like McDonald's like anime ads, and people are like, wow, it looks so good. Like that's what the show is sometimes, just with ice cream.
King's Avatar did have McDonald's. McDonald's ads.
Oh, and it wasn't even like Whack Donald's, right? It was actually legit.
It was an actual McDonald's ad, yeah.
Bless China.
Bless. Bless those product placements. So yeah, where do we want to start? We want to start at the very beginning of Wei Wuxian's resurrection and start from there. I know there's a lot in here.
I think I've talked with you earlier how I was like, I want to talk about the plot like very briefly, but like overall there's just so much that goes into it that we could go on for hours.
So where we first are introduced to Wei Wuxian. We don't know much about him at all, except that he is a spirit, supposedly malevolent spirit, that has been reincarnated into a man's body. And he sacrificed himself to bring Wei Wuxian back. And he has these marks on his arm. And as far as Wei Wuxian can tell, he doesn't really know what's going on, except that, or why he was brought back, except he's going to assume that the marks mean that he wants this many people to either face, either to be killed or face some kind of humiliation. And that's all he has to go off of. And he kind of has to act like he's the village idiot, because that's who everyone thinks that this guy was. So he comes back and goes into this this new family that he is that he was apparently that the previous person was a part of, and try and figure it out. And then he ends up running into a bunch of his like people that he knew in his previous life, and we know nothing at this point. I remember when I first watched it, I was so confused what was going on, and I was just as confused as like Wei Wuxian was. I was like, I don't know what his connection is with all these people. All we do know is that they are cultivators, and they're hunting this demon, and they encounter something known as the ghost hand, which is taking over dead bodies and having them attack people. And Wei Wuxian apparently has the ability to control dead people and turn them into zombies and have them do his bidding, but he's trying to hide that from everybody else. So it was very confusing when I first started off, and then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, you're confused, let's go back and fill in the history and catch you up to speed. And I remember just having so many questions about, like, how did Wei Wuxian die, and what is it like, what was his history with all these people? He seems to be scared of them figuring out who he is. So what did he do?
Yeah, he's like a necromancer, sort of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, for lack of a better word. So.
I mean, I feel like really the only big thing I want to bring up in the plot is, for how dense and like much is going on, they do a good job of tying up loose ends. I feel like almost at any point, any questions or stuff you have lingering in the background like gets addressed in some way or another, and it's very satisfying seeing those pieces fall into place. And obviously a season 3 has got to be on the way for more future stuff to get addressed, but I feel like a lot of this stuff can get left behind when a show is trying to do too much, and I feel like it carries the load well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so surprising for me that at the very first episode they introduced the ghost hand, and you don't know anything about it. And then it's not until like towards the end of season 2 that they even come back to the ghost hand. I was like, oh fuck, I forgot about that. Now we're back. I'm sorry.
You mean the arm?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the arm. Yeah, that it's very. I don't know if you're. It's. It's like normally you'd be like, oh, there's a demon on the loose, or the demon's eyes or something, but no, it's an arm. It's different, I guess, is the way I would put it. Like you don't really
JoJo
expect
coming back.
You don't expect it. It's just an arm. It's like Cousin It. I don't know.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, okay, we're starting up the show. Like, it's the first enemy. It's the first, like, this is going to be like a non-big player. They're going to address it, and they're going to move on as we learn about the thing. But like, this is, obviously we're going back in time, so it comes back later. But like, this is a big recurring villain, like right off the gate. Like, Ganon has showed up on Link's doorstep in the first 5 minutes, and it's like, oh, who's this scrub? No, he's part of one of the big things. Like, everything matters. Everything comes back at some point. Everything comes into play. And I think that's the thing I was most surprised on, is I thought we were just going to blow right by this guy, and everything
It is
matters.
so wild that when you're going back through the history, you meet the character who does eventually become the Ghost General, and you have no idea that that's who that is.
Exactly.
And it blew my mind towards the end of season 2. I think I was even texting you or messaging you while I was watching. I was like, Mason, they answered so much shit. I have more questions. It was crazy. But yeah, so we go back in time into where Wei Wuxian is much younger, alive previously, and where he has been adopted into this family, or this clan named. I'm so sorry if I mispronounce names, because I also am not familiar with Chinese names, but I'm going to say it's the Jiang sect. It's Jiang, Jiang, I'm going to assume, but into their family, and the family's not too hot on him.
Are those the purple boys?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's how I know. You got the white boys, the red boys, the yellow boys, the purple boys.
Yeah, this was Jiang sect was the they live in the Lotus Pier, and his adopted brother Jiang Cheng is not, they don't have a great close relationship, but they do kind of grow a little bit closer throughout the story until a certain point where a very big point later on where they go in completely separate directions. And then you have Yu Jian, which is the mother who is Wei Wuxian's the mother adopted him, and she is a crazy woman.
She's a piece of work.
Oh, I liked her a lot. She definitely doesn't have like Wei Wuxian at all. And but man, that scene later on where I guess, God, there's so much going on, because even before we talk about that, we haven't even talked about like the Wen sect, which Wen are like the kind of antagonists in the beginning, where they are a clan that is very tyrannical. They're like the best cultivation clan there is, and then they plot on how they're going to become like the leaders of everybody else, and they're so corrupted, and everybody in their clan is most of them, not everybody, are so corrupted and plot and do all kinds of crazy shit to bring the other ones down. And they attack the Cloud Recess. They attacked Lotus Pier. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on, guys.
I know. That's why I'm just looking at my notes. I'm like, just
so many
Too
clans
much to get through.
But something that I love about all of the clans, there's good and bad people. It's not like, oh, the Wen sect is completely tyrannical and everybody's awful. No, you also have like Wen King. I'm going to, so I'm so sorry if I mispronounce names. There was Wen Ning, who is the one who actually does become the Ghost General. And yeah. There's just like they saved Wei Wuxian at one point. And when after Wei Wuxian's clan was attacked and everybody pretty much was slaughtered, like each of them have good and bad characters in them, which made it more believable for me.
The characters are so much fun. The characters are probably half of what makes this show for me. I kind of don't even care about like the plots between like the overall larger clans, like how this one relates to this one, but more of just the story of the characters themselves is really what I was actively engaged in. They're such a charm. They're over the top, but like they're so multifaceted. Like almost no one here is like a one-dimensional character. Everyone has so much more going on, so many different sides that just really well written. I don't know. I don't know what more there is to say about them than that.
Yeah, I think from what we learned throughout all of season 1 and 2, that was I really like how they set it up. I like how they gave me so many questions at the first episode, and they went all the way back in time and be like, okay, let's fill in those blanks for you. And it gave me those kind of aha moments, like when you're watching a mystery and all the pieces start falling into place. And I dig that. I love that. I know some people aren't cool with that kind of storytelling. I love it. I'm a sucker for it. So, yeah, Wei Wuxian, when you first meet him, when he's first resurrected, you get the feeling he's like supposed to be a malevolent spirit. He did some really awful things, but we learn over the course of history that course of the story, that there is this forbidden type of dark cultivation, which is using negative energy to perform your attacks. Like he was able to bring back the dead and control them, and that's like really taboo and awful, and everyone's like, no, that's forbidden. And so, but over time he gets after all the clans go to war with one another, he is thrown into what's known as what was it called, the burial mounds, where there's so much
Sounds
dense
I think that's
negative energy.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so much dense negative energy, and that's where he decides to turn to the demonic cultivation route. And from there he plots like how he's going to get revenge on the Wen sect, and the spiral down from there, where eventually his anger lashes out and kills somebody very important. And we still don't really know who killed Wei Wuxian. I don't think we've uncovered that yet, have we? I think we have a pretty good idea, though.
I thought it was one. I think I know. I thought it was in season 1. I thought one of the Wen boys did it. But like I say, like there's almost I can't even spoil it because there's so much. Like for everything I spoil, there's 1,000 more things that pop up. I mean, I just love the path of how Wei went from like this jokester. He's a prankster. He's just a goofball. He's just lighthearted. And he goes to like what causes this person to flip that switch.
Yeah.
And become like the malevolent cultivator that many people have been like trying to like bring back to life, or his like demonic possessions and like brutal stuff. Because this show, it's always got a hair of like fighting and violence to it, but it gets I can't say brutal and gruesome at once. I'm trying to say gruesome, and it's not
gruesome.
But it gets very intense. The later climactic moments, and it lets loose.
I must be desensitized because of Vinland Saga, because I didn't really find myself to be too thrown off by the gruesomeness. But I mean, after watching Vinland Saga, like nothing looks gruesome.
I don't know if it was a Wen character. I'm trying to remember. Like he kills Wen Chao in there. Ooh, that was pretty gruesome. That was the one where that was the guy who was responsible pretty much for the downfall of Wei Wuxian's clan, and he gets tortured while staring at the remains of the Lotus Pier. I was trying to think. I know there's Wen Zhu Liu. I'm sorry if I mispronounced their names. He was like the core melting hand. He can like reach in and pull out someone's core.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Sad. I liked how they split up the episode lengths between season 1 and 2 for as long as they needed. Like it was 15 episodes for season 1, 8 episodes for season 2. I love when studios are like, we've got this much story to tell. Let's not pad it into 12 episodes because that's the requirement, or cram it into 12 episodes because that's a requirement. I like the pacing of it. I thought it was fast, it was expedient, but it definitely took its time when it needed to for the slower scenes.
I really love when they use music in this. Like, oh man, here comes how are we going to talk about the instruments, Mason? I already forgot what they're called, like the proper names of them. Wei Wuxian has a flute. Mason knows the actual name of it.
What is a DZ? Isn't that what you?
I think it's a DZ.
Oh,
I think
The timeout. Ferret alert. Ferret alert.
Oh yeah,
If
I
you're
saw
watching
him running
live,
back.
you can see the boy.
Scamper.
Sorry. Yes. Oh my goodness. I'll let you finish first, though, Mandy.
And what was it? The other main character, which was
Ron.
Lon Wangji. I think I don't know. I'm
Yes,
going to assume that's how
yes.
you pronounce it.
Yes.
He uses some kind of like lie down, almost looks like a koto, but I can't remember the name of it.
It's like a zither.
Yeah.
Is there?
A zither.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when they use those in the cultivation or exorcisms, it's so cool. Or when Wangji or Wei Wanj. Oh God, I can't even say their names now. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna mess up so
Notice that
much.
I have
I'm
not
impressed you
attempted it.
I'm just impressed you can keep the names straight at all.
Wei Wuxian, there we go. Wei Wuxian, when he uses his flute to do his demonic cultivation, bring corpses back, and he has all of those like crows flying around him. It just sounds so cool. Oh
When
no, it's
Wei
really
Wuxian comes in to save the day.
yeah,
Wuxian in.
basically yeah.
Wuxian in. No, I love. I mean, two parts. One, I love diegetic sound, which is when
Yeah.
the music you're hearing comes from the world itself. So I mean, a lot of times you get a soundtrack, but no one's playing music. Here, you have people playing the harmonious instrumentation that you hear during a battle and stuff, and I love stuff like that. I'm always reminded of the film. It's not animated, but don't hit me. Kung Fu Hustle, where
Oh.
they have the people that fight with like instruments in there, whether it be the bell or the like Kodo-esque zither and that thing. Like I just love diegetic sound, and it uses it so well. But most importantly, and I did talk about this a little bit in Vinland Saga, where some of my favorite moments in that show is just beautiful scenery plus beautiful music, and this show has that for days. Every
Yeah.
episode just has wallpaper tear, phenomenal background, sometimes watercolored, sometimes highly detailed, always well produced, with just this sometimes sad, sorrowful, harmonious music that just is going on. I'm just like, oh, I'm so much into this. It captures the scenery of the land, of the architecture. It's all there. It just looks so nice, and I love that. Oh, I just
Yeah.
The
get drawn
backgrounds
into that so much.
the backgrounds are nice, but it doesn't seem to move well. I mean, is it just me?
I was gonna say it is a little stiff. Things are definitely not fluid besides when they're actually animating water and stuff. But
I thought it got better over time though.
I would have to think back. I think the earlier fights were definitely more stiff than the later ones. I definitely think they saved some of their budget. But overall, the show never dips in art quality. The
I-
animation is a little more rocky, but I agree that at times the animation
I just chalked it
isn't
up.
the best.
I mean, we've had a lot of experience with Chinese studios not pumping out great animation, so I kind of just chalked it up to they're learning. Kind of is kind of how I felt about it, because there were times when I was like, there were times when there were like fight scenes and it would almost I felt like I was watching keyframes almost for a few, or like there was a scene where the demon arm is like twisting around and they're like trying to suppress it, and it just didn't move. It just didn't move well at all. Like the whole like rotation of the arm had about 5 frames. I don't know. There were just some spots. It didn't look like that the whole time, but yeah, I just didn't
feel
think it didn't move well at all. I didn't think.
I feel like sometimes it moved, like it looked bad because they were trying to show like a speed of like, look how crazy fast he's attacking, but it was really just like the same recycled things really quickly. So I think that I recall what you're talking about and don't disagree.
Yeah, they crush the backgrounds though. I mean, like a lot of this is like they're walking in the woods and it's spooky, or there's like in the later part of the show there's a castle in the woods, and they really nail like the foggy sort of overgrown forest aesthetic. It paints a good atmospheric picture for the scenes that are happening.
They do a great job with lighting in this, like dark shadows, nice highlights. Like it looks really nice, and I struggle a lot with some of the lighting in a lot of series where they don't bring out like that, like the really nice darks or the realistic lighting. It always looks like they kind of have just a constant ambient light over them. This one does really good, or does really well with that. And yeah, when I really like how the focus in like when it goes through like the forest, where like it looks like you're looking through a camera. I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of POV shots that were cool.
I talked a lot about the one sect in the Jiang one, which is the one Wei Wuxian was part of. The Lan sect was mostly Lan Wengji. We also got a bit of his older brother, which is Lan Huan, which is the one who takes over the clan in the Cloud Recess, and they did go through that whole part where the Cloud Recess was attacked. But we didn't talk anything about the Jin one. I'm so sorry if I mispronounce it. It's like Jin, just Jin, and they became the leaders of the cultivation world after the downfall, after the
tyranny.
Yeah, the
Wens
clan was pretty much destroyed. Out of those, did anybody like any of those characters? I know we got Jinling, which was the son of Jin. There's two characters that have almost very similar identical names. Zixuan, and then there's one is Zixuan and the other one is Zixun. So they're very hard. I don't know how to pronounce their names.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Jinling was
Zixuan or Zixun. But Zixuan is the father of Jinling, and he became the clan leader later on after Wei Wuxian was resurrected. And then there was but most of the story we get to see Jin Zixuan, I think that's how you say his name, which is the one that marries the Wei Wuxian's adopted sister. Did anybody think about?
Was Jinling the one in yellow?
Yes, with like
the
sword.
I mean,
one of them.
I mean, he was fine. He's I don't know. He struck me as like he was like the little brother of the group.
Yeah, he was always like in there trying to like prove himself kind of guy. Like he's trying to bring a little bit of honor to his family name, but also to himself to say, "Oh, I'm capable. I've got it." I would have to dig into that. Why? Do you have strong thoughts about it?
Oh no, I just I thought it was a very I don't know, it was a touching, or like I don't want to say touching. It was an intense scene where Jin Zixian, which is during like the night hunt, where Wei Wuxian accidentally kills him because he's now the husband of Wei Wuxian's adopted sister. I think her name is Yang Cheng, but he marries her, and then Wei Wuxian accidentally kills him with the Ghost General during one of his outbursts, and that was kind of
and everybody else.
I don't know. It's a very intense scene, knowing that now there's this family conflict as well, where he just killed his adopted sister's or his sister that he is when he was adopted into the family, his sister's husband now. Like it was, I don't know, it was a very intense scene for me.
Yeah, he pretty much killed everybody. Yep. I mean,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
They're so dumb. Like, I just don't understand how dumb they are. Like, you can't win. They fired like 300 arrows at him. He just kind of like blew his flute, and all the arrows blow away. Like why bother? Like, why even try? Really? I mean, he erased them like they were nothing. I mean, do you really want to throw your whole clan into extinction to try to take him on? I don't know. That's kind of what they did, in my opinion. They just kind of show up, they try, they all die, and then But I don't know. I don't know. The plot in this was so hard that I don't know. I struggled so much. Between the characters all looking the same, and the names and the clans, this one was tough. It was a tough one. So I feel like
I completely I know where you're coming from. And
I didn't put in the extra effort to read synopsises and research or whatever. So I feel like I understand about 45% of the story, I would say. and that's not really enough for me to have a good feeling. So you guys are talking, and I'm kind of like, I'm like very confused for a lot of it, but they don't change their clothing even when they're little kids. Like in the the second season has a lot of flashbacks in it. That is also one of the problems for me because it's like this is too many flashbacks. I feel like the whole second season is them walking around in the woods and flashbacks. And
I like how the whole second season is lots of little flashbacks, and the whole first season is a flashback.
A big flashback.
I mean, they don't change their clothes when they're little kids. I thought that was kind of funny. Like they got like I don't even know their names.
Gotta wear the team colors, my man.
It's so bad. I don't know their names. To me, they're Red Ribbon Man. Then there's Yellow Robe Man, and then there's White Robe. Then there's White Robe Man. But they all wear the same.
Lawns. But
in the flashbacks, they like when they're little kids, they're all wearing the exact same outfits, ribbons and all. And I was just like, I don't know, it's funny. I appreciated the consistency. I don't know. I feel dumb. Like this show made me feel dumb. It really did.
I think it was that hard to follow.
I mean, I could see though if you missed something at the beginning though, and that the show was like, oh, we expect you to have picked this up, and it got lost in the shuffle. It can definitely seem like you're always behind the ball, always like, am I supposed to be getting this? Is it supposed to be a mystery?
Well, the other problem is that I'm not a lightning fast reader, and the subtitles move blisteringly fast, and I'm not willing to stop them. Like, you guys may not have had a problem, but I have ADHD.
No, we're just Happy Galaxy pros.
Listen, we've been trained. We've been forged in the fires of Iwasa and taken summer classes with.
We've seen all Monogatari.
And seen Please Take My Brother Away. So we got our training in.
I have ADHD and I don't read lightning fast, and I tend to read every word that shows up, and these subtitles moved super quick. And as we already mentioned, if you're not absorbing every drop of information, you can get left behind real fast. And there were definitely times where they would like a 2-line phrase would come up and it would be gone in like 1 second. I'd be like, well, I missed that entire thing. And I'm trying to like keep, I don't know if that was everybody who watched this, because I don't know if that's just the subtitler I watched, but I could only find this on YouTube. So, wow. Woo!
I've heard it before, and some people in the chat are saying, if this sounds like a bit much, you can always try the live action version of this, where they talk.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now.
They talk at human speeds.
It's also in Mandarin, and it might be in Cantonese. I don't know, but when it's in Japanese and I miss a sentence, I normally hear it and I'm like, okay, well, I understood half of that anyway. But in Mandarin, I don't understand. I can't even count to 5 in Mandarin, so I don't. It was I don't know. I'm just making excuses, but that was kind of my experience. It was like I was trying to catch up the whole time, pretty much. It's kind of how I felt.
I get you. Well, is there anything else we really need to talk on? Because I feel like there's just a lot there.
People are mentioning in chat that sounds convoluted. Look, it may just be me how I'm describing it. I think you should go watch it though and try it out.
Yeah, I think you need to give it a chance, people.
No, I think we talked about art, music, story, characters. Were there any other moments that you guys liked a lot?
The music is good. I haven't watched a lot of Chinese anime, but I think it's funny that like when I'm watching Japanese anime, there's like all sorts of music. But when I'm watching Chinese anime, the music sounds very Chinese. Like I love the Chinese instruments, but I think it's interesting that every time I watch like a Thunderbolt Fantasy or one of these other shows that has Chinese influence, there's a lot of like most of the instruments are taken from like that culture's deck of instruments, I would say, and you can almost just tell by listening to the music. Like if you just listen to the music and nothing else, you'd say that one's from China, that one's from Japan, this one's from China, this one's from China, this one's from Japan. You can just tell. It's interesting. I don't know. The music is beautiful. That's just an observation I'm making. It's neither a positive nor a negative. This show does a good job of dipping in and out of the music when they need to, and the music always seems to fit the scene. But yeah, good stuff.
AC mentioned that let me see, Jiwon, I'm sorry, and Jin Ziyun died during Wang Ning's rampage. But as far as I know, he was under the like control of Wei Wuxian, like, wasn't he? He was the Ghost General. Anyways, as far as I thought that he was under the influence of Wei Wuxian at the time. And anyways. If I got that wrong, I'm sorry.
I think we're ready to score.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add, honestly.
I guess I'll go first, just to get my quick thoughts out there. I went into this, like we said, pretty much completely blind, and I was pretty blown away. It was dense, but it was rewarding, and I had a good time, and I loved the presentation of it. Like I said, I thought season 2 was a little bit weaker. I don't know if it was because it was shorter or I took that absence, but I'm definitely excited for season 3. I haven't checked out any of the manhwas, the side stuff, the live action. Like I haven't seen any other part of this series outside of the 2 anime seasons, so I'm excited to see what comes of it. I would probably give season 1 a 4 out of 5, season 2 a 3.5 out of 5. So if we're gonna score this as one collective piece, I'm gonna give it 4 sick flute solos out of 5.
Sick flute solo.
He did jam on that flute. I think a few notes on my flute is more than enough to take care of you curs. Everyone's dead. Yeah, I didn't really enjoy this anime very much. I won't lie. Like, it was just too out. It was just too out in left field for me. Like, but between the names and I didn't like the character designs. Like, I felt like I was watching a pretty boy anime. Like, because all the characters all look the same. It is. Well, not really, but like when they all look the same, and I can't tell the difference between them. It is. And they do all look the same. Like, I took photographs of them all and looked at them all, and I was like, yeah, they all look the same. And in anime, in the anime we're used to watching, it passes.
They all look the same.
Well, at least they swap the hair color out usually.
You go into Mitsugi's room, he has a wall full of pictures of pretty boys. He's like, but what are their names? Someone comes in. It's just for research. I don't know their names.
And Icero says it is a boys' love series. Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
it does progress into that.
So I mean, this is a tough one. Like, it's like they took the hair colors that they would have used in anime, which normally helps you differentiate them, and move them to clothing, which is a lot of the same type of idea. But I just didn't particularly enjoy this show very much. I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's tough to follow. It's not my speed. The subtitles were fast. I'm not used to hearing Mandarin. I don't understand. I can't follow the language. In the feel of the whole show, it just doesn't feel like what I'm used to. And maybe I'm just crotchety and grumpy, and that's probably it. But I just didn't really enjoy it very much, and I probably wouldn't recommend it to people because I think that there's a ton of fantasy shows out there that are much easier to follow and are better animated. I do appreciate the background art of the show is great, and the music is enjoyable, and some of the content of the story is unique. And there aren't too many shows that are basic that have like a necromancer in them, and some of it feels very unique. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy the show. There's no way I'll watch more of it, and I would probably give it. What was that curse called? I would give it 2 Curse of Decay inflicted people out of 5, just as a whole.
Can I entice you with the Chibi series, which is going to be released this year?
No.
Is that more your speed?
No, there's no way. Listen, I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I want you to watch all of it and enjoy every bit, but it just wasn't for me.
Have you seen the pause button to read subtitles?
No worries, Miss. I appreciate it. Thank you
I'm just
very
kidding.
much for sharing your negative takes. I applaud your bravery.
I'm just taking a page out of your book, Mason.
I like it. I like it.
The
Fan
curse
it
was
again.
called like the Curse of 100 Holes. Also, I think that you're thinking of.
They kept calling it like the kiss of decay, is what I was referring to when they'd see like the guy's body would have like all the contorted marks on it. And you'd be like, oh, the kiss of decay. And I was like, oh yeah, I know that one.
I love the series. I thought it was really good. And this is like a really giant series in China right now. And I see a lot of people talking about it. But yeah, I think the artwork is gorgeous. I love the characters. I love the blend of music, like using musical instruments as a way, as like their way to use their cultivation abilities. I think that was really fantastic. I love the way it sounds. And yeah, I really like how it evolved from like, I have loads of questions, and how it evolved all the way up through season 2. And I was like, holy shit, I filled in all of the blanks. Now there are a few more. I have to see more. And the novel apparently is pretty long, and I think it's still ongoing. I think they ended King's Avatar, but this one's still going on. I'm very interested in checking out the live action on Netflix. Yeah, no, I thought it was fantastic and something totally different and new for me, and far different from what I was expecting going in. And I think I'd give it, overall, the entire thing together, season 1 and 2, I think I'd give it, what was the name of the Koto thing?
Oh,
The Zither?
The Zither?
I think it was
4.56 Zither performances.
that can't be the name of that instrument.
I think it is. I think it is.
No, the zither is the it's the okay, yeah. The Chinese zither is what they're calling it. The zither that you see normally is like much smaller, but I'm looking at it right here and it says that there's the Chinese zither. Never mind. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That thing looks heavy, by the way.
He's a strong boy.
Have it in your lap. Well, I mean, heck, in Kung Fu Hustle, they like kick it at each other and spin it around.
God, that's a great movie. Go watch Kung Fu Hustle.
It's so fun.
People.
It's so fun.
It's the best. Everything he does is amazing.
Shaolin Soccer is really great too.
Wasn't the Flying Axe Gang is in that?
Yeah, the Axe Gang.
That's like watching
That's a good
some.
one.
I like their
what-
dance scene.
Shaolin Soccer is like Dragon Ball Soccer. It's so silly.
Shaolin Soccer is all right. God of Cooking or God of Cookery. I forget what it's called.
I haven't seen
That's
that
pretty
one.
good.
I haven't seen that.
Anyway,
Guys, we never.
yeah,
we
the
never-
listeners liked it. The listener score averaged out to be a 4.5 out of 5. Everyone gave
Wow.
it either a 5 or a 4, and people just are like, "Win a season 3." I'm with you.
I really am grumpy.
Same.
Jeez. Well, you can't like everything. I don't know. So
Very true.
we never get to mailbags. So, but we will do a mailbag episode soon, very soon. So, and we'll try to catch up a little bit. But well, that was
a good
fun.
Oh, the instrument's called a keen. I'm sorry. I wanted to fix that before someone yells at us. The 7-string keen. That's how you pronounce it.
That thing looked like it had way more than 7 strings on it.
I don't know, but I want to throw out there before someone yells at us.
And
Yell
I
at
see.
me, I don't care.
Yeah,
I get that a
really
lot.
says-
I get that a lot on Discord. Like, you fucked this up. I'm like, I'm sorry.
I usually yell back in all caps. I know.
I know. Anyways,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, next week we start impressions, guys. So we should have enough. We should have just enough shows with enough episodes left. Although some of them might be Enzo's, so we're probably gonna end up doing some of them for Enzo. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how this new upcoming season pans out. I've been hearing some pretty good stuff about different shows, and then I've been hearing some interesting stuff about others. So we'll have to see. I'm really excited to see how Orphan pans out. Because Orphan either
Yikes.
is. Orphan's already had like 3 shovels of dirt on its grave, so I'm kind of hoping, it doesn't get another heaping dose, and maybe he'll climb out of the grave a little bit, because Orphan himself is pretty cool. So, but guys, again, thank you so much for watching live and for listening. We love all of you. You're all our anime addicts, and we appreciate that you listen and watch. Again, if you wanna check out our website, you can go to aaapodcast.com. And on there, you can see what our upcoming episodes are going to contain, the schedule, so to speak. You can see the shows that we've passed from the current season. You can play trivia. You can also go on the top of the site and join at aapodcast.com/join, and you can get our hentai episodes or hobby addicts or after parties. You can get the member RSS feed. You can do mailbags. You can join the Discord. Just head over to the website. And of course, follow us on twitch.tv and on Twitter. Mandi, what is your Twitter?
I am at AAA_Mandi with an I. I talk about a bunch of random shit, mostly video games and anime, and I'm just a mess. So come follow my mess on Twitter.
Mason is way too hot for Twitter.
I don't have a Twitter. Like I said, though, go to my anime list, MAKLAX, look me up, and just tell me what shows I should watch, and I will tell you why they're bad.
He's a spicy bro.
That's the promise I have.
Don't go to Mason unless you just want to feel bad.
Or that.
He's spicy. He's a spicy boy. So guys, thank you so much for listening. We're gonna go do an after party now, and then we will see you next week with impressions. And I believe we're gonna be playing a fun trivia game that Icy Rose very, very graciously put together for us. So we're gonna have fun with that. And I'm going
if you want to see me get absolutely embarrassed.
I am going to
I have nothing.
I will wreck face. See you next week, guys.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.